Lowe's knows when you're looking for reliability, the right brand makes all the difference. And now, Lowe's is the exclusive home improvement retailer for the Whirlpool water treatment line, including their Wi-Fi softener, under-sink filtration system, and more. With Whirlpool's proven performance and our everyday low prices, better tasting, better quality water is within reach. Shop pro-trusted brands like Whirlpool and more, in-store or online. Lowe's, we help, you save.
Today we'll have Sharon's Disney World trip, including a wedding at Magic Kingdom. That's coming up on this episode 476 of WDW Prep To Go. Hello and welcome to WDW Prep To Go. We talk strategy and ideas for people planning their Disney World trips, and we have lots of trip reports, including today. I am your host, Shannon Albert from WDWPrepSchool.com. Thank you for being here for episode 476. Today is another trip report, and this is with a return guest. Sharon's been on the podcast before, and she's a friend of mine. And over the years, her strategies and sort of view and everything of going to the parks has changed. And so you may find this one to be a very different kind of trip than she has had before, a little bit more laid back. And this time it is centered over or scheduled because there was a wedding of a friend of hers at Magic Kingdom, which I'm excited to play for you in just a second. I wanted to mention that we, of course, are always working on new content. And although these episodes aren't necessarily about our new content all the time, I wanted to make sure you knew it existed because we have recently just created lots of Halloween party information, including where to meet all the characters. And the graphic that we create for this, it denotes if the character is very popular, if it's the same character you can meet during regular Magic Kingdom hours, if it's a unique outfit, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of different characters, and this sort of helps you to strategize which ones to meet and where they are, et cetera, et cetera. So we have that plus a lot more information about the Halloween party. If you are interested, if you're attending this year, make sure you go and read over that so that you are prepared because there's a lot to do and only so much time to do it. If you want to be a podcast guest like Sharon or for a trip report, please use the SpeakPipe information that's listed in the show notes of every episode. Leave a little voicemail about the details of your trip. And if it works out in a schedule, we will reach out to you to get it booked. Without any further ado, here are my chats with Sharon. I was going to say welcome to the podcast, Sharon, but I should say welcome back.
Thanks. Hi, Shannon.
Hi. We are talking again
Yes.
about an upcoming trip that you have to Disney World. I was just trying to look at what your episode number was previously.
It was in, I think, August of 2022.
3, 2, 1. That's an easy one to remember.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. And that one was also Disney World, right?
Yes.
And you went to Universal that time. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. But you do Disneyland now and you do Disney cruises.
I do all the things. Yes.
All the things. Okay. This one's Disney World again. So
Yes.
tell me about this trip. What are your trip dates?
We leave on Friday, the 15th of August, and we come back Tuesday, the 19th.
Who's we?
Me and my husband, Kevin.
You do all different configurations.
Yes, we do. I sometimes go by myself. I go with each of my kids by themselves. Sometimes we go as a whole family. And Kevin hasn't been with me since marathon weekend in January. So and that time he didn't even have tickets. And he worked pretty much the whole time, except when he was watching me run. So he hasn't been into a Disney park, I don't know, since last summer, I think.
He also did a Disney cruise with you a month or two before that.
That's true. He did.
So that has been your MO is you guys do a lot of stuff as well.
Yeah,
so what is what brought about this particular trip?
Okay. So this is it's a mashup because, I do all the Run Disney stuff. I wasn't into that. I just started that when I did that other trip report. I hadn't actually done any of the races yet, but a friend of mine who I know through Run Disney is getting married at the Magic Kingdom. And so she invited a group of us that have become friends through the years we literally do all the races together and we hang out at the start line of all the races. And we've now done different things together. We're doing the Halloween party together at Wine and Dine. And so it started off as I was like, oh my gosh, you're getting married at Magic Kingdom and the park's going to be open. I may just show up. And she was like, well, you can come and sit. And I was like, and it was like a joke. And then she messaged me and she was like, do you want to come? And I was like, I don't know. She's like, well, these guys are going to come too. And I was like, okay, sure. And I thought it was just going to be, we show up at Magic Kingdom and there's a row in the back for the runners, but she's including us in like everything. So it'll be interesting.
So fun. You know what? You know that trend or meme or whatever that's, if I ever win the lottery, I'm not going to announce it, but there will be signs.
Totally.
One of the signs would be, oh, guess what? Having a party at Magic Kingdom.
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's what we're doing.
Like I know Kevin and I got married on a mountaintop with 5 people. And like, we might have to do a vow renewal in front of the castle someday.
It'd be so fun. If Sharon wins the lottery,
that will be one of the signs.
That's how you'll know.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, that's a very fun reason for a trip. I assume you'll be doing more than just that, but that seems like a good.
That was sort of the precipitating situation that made us book it.
Okay. Well, that's really fun. Let's talk through it. So August 15th, Friday. Are you flying now?
We are. We have like 8 in the morning, 8:15, something like that. And so we'll get there around 10:30.
So that's probably on Southwest, isn't it, Sharon?
No. I do not fly on Southwest.
Sharon hates Southwest as much as I like it.
Well, first of all,
I'm about to join you because it's
going to be the same. It's going to be the same as every other. It just doesn't fly out of my airport is the main thing. Plus, I can't handle the anxiety of the seats.
Yes.
Too much. The cattle call for the seats. I can't handle it.
The people that don't like it, that's what they don't like. I like it because it gives everybody a position to stand in. And so everybody's not crowding the gate all at once.
Yeah.
But all that's changing. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. I mean, United kind of has that too. I mean, they have like lanes for what position. So if you have status, you're in like lane 1 or 2. And so then you kind of have a place to be. So it's not crazy. And then so I don't know.
Is United your preferred airline?
Yes.
Okay. So
because they have a hub right where I am. So it's easy.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So your United flight lands in the morning at MCO.
My United flight lands and I will get out of my predetermined seat on the plane and then get at an MCO. And then we rented a car because I always do that. But everything was so cheap. I mean, Disney cheap, vacation cheap because of the time of year. Because it's like after Florida schools are already back in and it's, we get back 2 days before our kids start school. So I splurged on a fancy rental car. So we're going to get like a BMW or something fun.
And do you do the Alamo thing or do you do something different?
I used to do something different, but I had a very bad experience ultimately. So now I'm back to Alamo.
Okay.
I went through a period of time where I was getting fancier cars that I was finding good deals on, but I'm like all Alamo all the time now. It's so much easier. But this is the first time I've done a nice car with Alamo. So we'll see how it goes. I've never tried it before.
Yeah. But you get to pick it.
Yes.
So that's really nice because you can be like, yes, that's the one I envision myself in.
Yes. I'm just not sure how many of them they're going to have. Like I've never even noticed that they have luxury cars, but we'll see.
I've never been in that aisle myself.
I don't think I've ever noticed that aisle. So we'll see. I will report back what the options are.
But you can pick it out.
Yeah.
And so you'll be going from there to where you're staying.
Probably no. Probably we will go from there to Animal Kingdom because I got Kevin that 3 because he doesn't like Magic Kingdom that much. So I was like, oh, perfect. We can get that 3 because I have an annual pass. He doesn't have, 1. So I got that 3-day deal where it's 1 day in each park except for Magic Kingdom. But then that actually turned into kind of stressful to figure out when to do these things. So we're going to go to Animal Kingdom on Friday and we're probably going to go there straight from the airport because it'll be like noon and I'm not expecting our room to be ready. So we're going to go straight to Animal Kingdom. And there I always like to do something new. We're going to get lunch at Yak and Yeti because I've actually never eaten there. I've had 1,000 reservations there that I've canceled, but I'm hopefully going to stick with this one.
You're such a planner and tweaker.
Yeah, I change things all the time.
So that's typically how I think you do it. Is that is that how you're doing things for this trip as well?
Probably not because I don't know. The vibe is not being too stressed and just doing little things. Like Kevin's been at the parks a million times. So we're just going to, even though we have tickets for 3 days, we're just going to dip in. We're not going to do a whole park day. So I did get lightning lanes. So basically we're going to go in to the park each of those 3 days, do our 3 lightning lanes and leave.
That was going to be my next question is if this trip includes lightning lanes. I know you have sort of mixed feelings and evolving views on rope dropping.
Yeah. I've like aged out of it, I think. I mean, I can do it, but I don't have to do it anymore. And so I doubt we'll do that. Well, I don't know. We might this time just because the heat. But if we do, it won't be like first people at the tap styles rushing to, it'll be like somewhere around early entry and then going to some low key ride that has no wait.
Yeah. You're a lot more laid back,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
still you're using lightning lanes
Yeah.
because that will save some time.
Yeah. Just because then it's like easier. Don't have to worry about it. I mean, it's
So-
not going to be high crowds anyway, so it'll be fine.
No, I mean, and at Animal Kingdom on a low crowd time with lightning lanes,
Yeah.
that's going to be real easy.
Well, and I had to finagle it. So I basically have 4 lightning lanes and a lunch reservation. And my plan is to be there from 12 to 3:30. And I think we can pull that off.
So the 4 lightning lanes are Flight of Passage plus the multi-pass lightning lanes plus
Correct.
your lunch reservation.
Yes.
And did your lunch reservation get in the way of your lightning lanes?
It did. It was very annoying because I was like, there's no way Animal Kingdom's lightning lanes are like not available, but they were bumping them out too late. So I had to cancel my lightning lane. I mean, not my lightning lane.
Your
I had to
ADR.
cancel. Yes, I had to cancel my lunch reservation because I wasn't sure if that was the problem, but it was because I wanted to have my lightning lane start at noon when we get there. And so I canceled my lunch reservation. And then I was able to book my lightning lanes at like 12 and 12:30 and 1:30 and 2:30. And then I rebooked my dining reservation, the one, and it was the same time. It was the one I had canceled, and then it allowed them to overlap.
We have seen people doing this a lot recently in the patron group, and it seems like a great workaround because the dining reservation will eliminate lightning lane possibilities, but not the reverse.
Yes.
So once you have your lightning lanes, you can go
book
make
right
it.
over.
Now, the risk is if it's a popular place that has
Yeah.
low availability, you can't just easily cancel and rebook,
Yeah.
but you're going in the summer,
Yeah.
low crowds.
It did have that, the not being able to rebook the dining reservation did happen to me. And I knew I was very highly suspecting because people have those alerts set up because I had one on a different day for Cake Bake Shop, but I wasn't that, I was probably going to cancel it anyway. Like I just didn't, but it's one that I won't be able to rebook. But then it interfered with the lightning lane. So I canceled it. And by the time I went, it was gone. So it's risky. If it's a popular one and you really care about the dining reservation, then I wouldn't do it. But
yeah, but it is a strategy people have been using to get like lightning lanes that are at the times that they want, I guess.
Exactly.
Okay. So in this 3-hour window, you've got 5 things going on.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We have Flight of Passage, Navi River, Kali River, and Everest. Did I skip one? Everest, Kali River, Navi River. That's 3. Flight of Passage and lunch. Yeah, so 5 things. Yeah.
Okay. So is the first of those lunch?
Yes.
So you'll go do that and then go start tapping in.
Yeah, I just do them in order. Plus with the 2-hour rule thing, it's okay. We'll be fine. But it wouldn't have worked in the reverse. So if it was like the first, if it doesn't start till 2, like you can't go till 2. But if it starts at noon and you get there at 2:30, you're good. So it just worked out better that way.
And you've been to Disney World with that 2-hour period, right? That like wider window where you can tap in. Does it make you like the lightning lane system better than you did?
Maybe. I mean, I guess so. I do like it. I like that. I like that part of it. But I definitely think it makes it harder to get lightning lanes when it's busy. This system compared to Genie Plus. Like that's what I really don't like about it is like high crowd times you can't get all the good ones. Yeah.
But I think they don't release as much inventory to the lightning lane system compared to the Genie Plus system.
Maybe
That's
there's
what I
just
think.
less.
Yes,
Okay.
because sometimes the lightning lanes are so short. And it's yes, I'm grateful for it now that I'm in it, but probably they could have done more.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's a good explanation.
That's my theory.
I'm excited to go back to Disneyland and use the old system again.
Yes, I know how much you like it. I know. And a lot of
I miss
people
it.
that learn on Genie Plus, that's their favorite system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So what after
then-
all of that at Animal Kingdom?
After we leave Animal Kingdom, we go check into our resort, which is Saratoga. We got, because again, the summer discounts were like amazing. So we actually got a 1-bedroom villa. I've only ever stayed at Saratoga for, I think it was 1 or 2 nights with my son a couple years ago in a studio. And so I've actually never stayed in a 1-bedroom villa anywhere before. I'm so excited about the washer dryer. I'm like,
You are a laundry gal.
I'm so excited. I'm like stupidly excited about having a washer dryer.
You may never go back.
I know
Because it's so handy.
dangerous.
I mean, there have been trip reports where people literally booked a 1-bedroom just so they would have a chance to do laundry mid-trip.
And I usually go to Disney to run. So laundry is like key. But I mean, during popular times, it's like, I don't know. Oh, it's twice as expensive as like a room at Coronado. So I'm really not going to be able to justify it in normal times. But God, it's going to be nice.
Yes, for this trip, it's going to be amazing. And with having a full kitchen, do you plan on using that?
I think so. Actually, because it's going to be hot, so I think our plans are to like try to chill out and spend some time there. And that day also, I think between Animal Kingdom and going to Saratoga, we're going to stop at the Winn-Dixie because according to ChatGPT, it's the closest, best grocery store to Saratoga Springs Resort. So it's saved in my phone. The Winn-Dixie near Saratoga. We're going to check it out.
Now, Sharon, we just talked about this before we started recording.
I know
ChatGPT, as useful as it is, may not give you correct information.
Do you know anything about the Winn-Dixie in wherever this is? Lake Buena Vista.
I just always end up at Publix, so.
Okay, if we walk into the Winn-Dixie and it scares me, I will Google the nearest Publix and see what happens.
The Publix are just so nice and they're everywhere. So
they're like Giant here. I think it's the same as Giant. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to get groceries. We'll see how it goes.
So did you say that was sometime in this day?
Yeah, before we check into the resort is probably when we'll do that.
Okay. So you'll have some groceries in your fully stocked kitchen.
Yes.
I mean, your full kitchen. That will be
full
fully
kitchen
stocked after
you put groceries after we go to the groceries. Yeah.
Okay. Any other plans after checking into your resort?
Yes, actually, we got, and the things affiliated with my friend's wedding, I don't know a ton about really what to expect, but there's like a dinner that night at the Boardwalk. So and it's not like it's at a private venue space at the Boardwalk. So we're going there.
We're going to want all the details.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know. I think it's not super fancy. It's like a casual-ish pre-wedding night dinner thing.
But you said private. So I want to know, what is the space? How does it work?
Yeah. It's one of their venue options, I suppose, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Which is so fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Are we ready for Saturday?
Sure. Saturday is interesting. Saturday is the day the wedding is. So the wedding is at 8 a.m. in front of the castle.
8 a.m.
Yeah. So
what time's the park open?
I think 9.
Okay.
So right. So that means that's when she first told me about it, I was like, so I could be on the hub at 8 then. I mean, or get there close to 8 because they usually let you in at the tap styles an hour before park opens and then through to like
before you knew you're invited. You're like, I'll just be a guest and
totally
observe from a distance.
Yes. I was like, I could come into Magic Kingdom annual pass. I'll just fly down and be like, hey. So I don't really know. But when I think about it, I guess they let you in guests into the tap styles at 8. And then you have to turn right to get into I don't know, maybe they'll have it blocked off. I'm not quite sure what to expect, but I know the wedding's at 8. And
your husband doesn't have Magic Kingdom tickets.
He does not. He doesn't need them.
Not required for the wedding.
Correct. And they are, I don't know if this was the only option, but they're picking us up. If we were going to be off site, we'd have to meet at the Grand Floridian, but since we're on site, they're picking us up and then taking us to, I don't know, they're taking us into Magic Kingdom somehow.
Okay, so like a private car service.
But I think it's through Disney.
Right, for a Disney private car service.
Something like that, yeah.
Private cars, that must be included in their fees
I'm
for
sure they pay
wedding.
for it, yes.
Yeah, private, it's nice to know that's an option.
Yeah.
So you'll be picked up and then driven behind the scenes.
Yeah, I guess, something like that.
Okay.
This whole week I've been obsessing about what to wear because I haven't figured out. She said that part, the ceremony is the most fancy, most formal. And I'm like, it's 8 o'clock in the morning in August in Orlando. I have to figure out how to look nice when I will be very hot. So
yeah. We'll is there like a theme or anything like that to go by?
Nope. I think just princesses at Disney.
Just a princess.
I don't know.
Morning princess.
Morning princess is the vibe I'm going to go for. I said I was going to, and we have a group chat and it's like half men. And like of this group of runners, it's 3 women and 2 men. So there's 5 of us, I guess. And so it was like, I said, I'm going to wear a summer dress. And then one of the guys was like, okay, summer dresses it is. Sounds good. I'll pack mine. So we'll see what happens.
I think if I was a man, I would maybe A linen suit? Something a little bit lighter?
I told Kevin has these like really lightweight like dress pants that are almost
Yeah.
like bathing suit material that they're like really quick. So I said maybe that and like a really lightweight like button down short sleeve shirt. I was like, that
Yeah.
seems fine for him. And I'm gonna wear a summer dress of some sort.
Yeah.
I'm super overpacking. I'm gonna just pack like lots of things, all the choices. And shoes. So many shoes.
Okay, so you get picked up in the morning, the wedding's
Yeah.
at 8 a.m. How
Yeah.
long does it last? Not until
It
more than an hour.
No, she shared the transportation things. So, and it's weird because we're sort of like unofficial, I mean, not unofficial guests, but we're like, she's just including us. So she shared like the thing that she had about her transportation setup. And so it says that the transportation return guests to resorts, it's over at 10. So by 10, I assume we will all be back to our resorts based on that information I have about the transportation. So I think they take us back to Grand Floridian and then disperse from there.
Okay. So Magic Kingdom to the Grand Floridian.
Yeah.
Okay. Real curious how that 8 to 10 thing's gonna go.
You and me both. I have no idea.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's so fun. I'm so excited for her. Like it'll be
report back. Okay.
Yes.
And then after 10 a.m., what are you thinking?
After 10 a.m., we're not going to a park that day. So we're either just going to hang out at Saratoga, which is probably what we'll do. We'll probably just hang out at the resort. Maybe go into Disney Springs. Today I booked a Raglan Road lunch reservation at like noon because I saw that their entertainment starts at noon on weekends. And I've only ever been there once with Catherine, and I really liked the entertainment. And she was sick. She was like coming down with the flu, so she was miserable. So it kind of was like well, I didn't know she was coming down with the flu, but she was just like, ugh. So it kind of wasn't as fun as it might have been. So I kind of want to go back.
But this is big. Sharon doesn't like Disney Springs.
I don't, but I'm staying at Saratoga.
It's right there.
It's right there. So I feel like if I'm doing a resort day at Saratoga and I need to eat, it just seems like a shame to not hop in to Disney Springs at least. Although it's going to be August, and one of the things I hate about Disney Springs is the heat and the crowd. So we'll see. We might just hang out at Saratoga and get pool food or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think one of the reasons you don't like Disney Springs too is because it's crowded, right?
Yes.
And during the
So
day,
crowded.
I mean, it's a weekend, so who knows? But during the day, maybe it won't be so bad as at night.
Maybe not in August. You know what I mean? It's a daytime in August, so it's hot. So people might prefer not. It might be fine to just walk to eat lunch and then get back on the boat and come back.
Yeah, you let us know how you feel about it.
Yeah, we'll see if it happens or not. Maybe I'll just wave at Disney Springs from across the water and be like, okay, that's good enough.
There's no drones for you to watch this time.
I know. Well, of course not. If there were, they would be canceled because I tried 3 times to see that show, and every time it was canceled. So it was not meant to be me and the drone show.
That's right. Anything else on Saturday?
Yes, there is dinner that night. I don't know very much about that either. We also get picked up for that, and I think it's at Epcot. And that is the extent of my information at this point.
Is there a dress code for all of the wedding related events?
I mean, not really.
Okay.
Not that we sort of all talked about it, and all I know is that the most formal is the wedding. I clarified, it's the wedding ceremony is the most formal, and then the dinner, therefore less formal than that. And it's August, so but it's an event at Disney, so I'm gonna wear like a dress. I'm not gonna roll in my park clothes or anything.
And your running shorts.
My running shorts. Well, that's funny because that's the only way I've ever seen any of these people, pretty much. Oh, look at us all dressed up.
That's how I feel because I've met so many people, including you, because of this job. And I'm like, none of us know what each other's like in a kitchen.
No.
Or driving. Like, what is it like outside of the space that you meet people?
Yes,
it's
exactly.
kind of funny.
Like the friends you only know in vacation space. That's their friend group.
Yeah, it's very funny. One exciting thing about the dinner at Epcot, I think, is there's a lot of spaces to have these private events. So I'm curious where you'll end up.
Yeah, me too. I actually have no idea.
Okay. Sunday, August 17th.
Sunday. Okay. That day we are going to, that just becomes a pretty normal Disney trip. That day we're going to, I love Magic Kingdom. Kevin does not. So I am going to try to rope drop Magic Kingdom and by myself without any lightning lanes just for a couple hours. But maybe that'll change depending on, how tiring the day before is. But I don't think it'll be that tiring because we're just at the resort. So I will probably do that and then come back before lunch, like 11:30 or 12. And then we are going to go to Hollywood Studios for Lightning Lanes and Fantasmic in the evening. So we already have those booked.
Okay. An afternoon or evening?
Like we're gonna get there at 4:30.
Okay.
So ish.
For Lightning Lanes and Fantasmic.
Yeah.
Got it.
So hopefully in the middle of the day, just like chill out at the pool or take a nap. I'm thinking of napping on this trip.
This is a very laid back trip for you.
Like in this big giant suite that we're gonna have. I'm like, seems like we should sleep at night and in the daytime. It's probably the best idea. And there's a giant bathtub.
Yes,
Like,
there is.
It's gonna be we're just gonna chill. Yeah.
There is.
And do laundry. Do laundry and chill.
Laundry, eat the food from your fridge, bathtub, go to Disney Springs occasionally.
It's wave at it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes, or wave at it. Whichever. Okay, that is pretty chill.
That day. Yeah.
Monday, August 18th.
That day is Epcot. And so we're probably going to go at rope drop and just do the front. We're not going to do World Showcase probably because of heat and because we've done it a billion times. But we want to do test track because that's new to us, or the new test track. And then we got Guardians too. And so we'll do that. And then in the evening right now, we'll probably leave there. I think, we have that Geode 82 also. We have that. 2 new things at Epcot.
I was hoping you would say that, and I wanted to talk about the mocktail menu.
Oh, is it good?
Oh, I wanted to ask you what you think.
Oh, okay. Because you've been there, haven't you?
Yes, but I didn't order mocktails.
Didn't try the mocktails. Okay.
I am happy that they're available.
Yes. They also have non-alcoholic beer, which is really my jam. So I'll probably try both. I like to really support to really reward them for offering the option. So I'll just drink them. I'll try them all. Yeah.
Yes. You love when they have the non-alcoholic beer, but also I do appreciate them spending time on the mocktails.
Yes. I've actually never had, because I know they make mocktail. I mean, I was never really a cocktail drinker anyway, let alone a mocktail, like with whatever spirits. I don't really know what those are. And so I've never tried one that has a fake spirits in it. So I think that's what they have there, but I'll try them and see what I think. Okay. And also get the non-alcohol. I'm going to be very hydrated at the end of that. I think we go there at 11:15, I think is our reservation. And all of our other Lightning Lanes are before that. And then we have test track after, because that was the earliest it was available, was at like 12:30, I think. And then
I'll be curious how you feel about the updated test track and Geo 82.
Me too. It looks so pretty. I mean, I haven't watched a lot, but I've probably seen on your Instagram just like pictures of it. So I'm sure it'll be good. And they have like little snacky kind of food, it looks like.
They do.
So
small plates.
Yeah. And it's fancy and it's it's an adult trip. So we might as well go. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad there's things you can order there.
Yes. And then the only other thing, so then we're going to go back to Saratoga and do more napping and laundry and whatever, just hanging out in our giant suite. I'll probably lay on the sofa bed just because I have one that I don't need, whatever. And then I want to try to see the parade at Magic Kingdom. So we have dinner reservations. We have 2 dinner reservations right now. One at Ohana, but it's a little bit early. It's at 4. And I'm going to see if I can push that later. But I also have one at 1900 Park Fair. So what I'm going to try to do is go to dinner in the Magic Kingdom area. But I'm not quite sure what to do with Kevin. So I don't know. Either what we're going to do is go to dinner in the Magic Kingdom area, then he's going to drive back to the resort. I'm going to go to the Magic Kingdom to try to see the parade, and then I'll take the bus back. Or we won't do dinner at the Magic Kingdom area. We'll do dinner at Saratoga, and I will just take the bus over to Magic Kingdom to try to see the parade. And I know the parade isn't going anywhere, but I just feel like I want to see it because it's new. And I became a Disney person in 2019, so I've never seen a nighttime parade at the Magic Kingdom except for the parties. So we could also do it Saturday night after the wedding reception, which I think is supposed to be over at 9. But I'm like, I'm going to be too tired to like hop into Magic Kingdom at 11 o'clock at night on Saturday night. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah. You mentioned your Hollywood Studios Day. Is there anything new there that you're going to be doing?
Not for me. I've done everything there, but Kevin's never seen the new shows. So we're going to try to do at least the villains show, maybe the Little Mermaid. When I saw the Little Mermaid, I was literally the last person that they let in. And so I had to stand, it was the last show and I was the last person. So I had to stand behind like the AV booth. It was very weird. So I kind of want to go back and see it again, like in a regular seat. And the villain show was cool. So I want to do that again too, but I've seen them before. He hasn't. And I haven't actually seen the new Fantasmic. I mean, I don't know how new it is. But I haven't seen Fantasmic since it restarted after the pandemic. So I don't know how different it is, but that's another one. Cause most of the time when I go and run weekends, so nighttime events just don't happen. So
not with the 3 o'clock alarms.
It's more like a 2 o'clock alarm. It's really rough. It's like a 6:30 bedtime. So
2 o'clock alarm and you have to leave by 3. Is that how it works?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why it's funny because that's why I know all these people is like, we are all type A plus. So this group of people, we are always at the corral before anybody at the front in the beginning. And so that's how we all know each other, ironically, is for that. So yeah, I get up earlier than one actually needs to for even the Run Disney races.
Yes, but you said you're outgrowing some of these things. So will that change?
I think it might. I might when we usually, this group, we're all, I don't know, do you know about how like in the Run Disney events that the corrals are based on time. So we're all in the A corral. So we're all like pretty fast runners. And I did one of the races last season with Catherine and Heather and Felicia and all these people. Like we started in D and walked the whole thing. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is so much chiller. Like maybe I should do this sometimes.
For the shorter distances, that seems doable.
Yes. Well, for the 5Ks, because I don't it's a really early wake up to go to a 5K. So we'll see.
All right. Tuesday, August 19th.
We leave. I think our flight, and then I go to work because I'm stupid. So our flight out is at 9. There's 2 flights from United that leave every single day in the morning. There's an 8:20 and a 9. And I have at least gotten myself to accept that the 9 is a much wiser decision. So we're on the 9 a.m. flight and that gets us back at 11:30. And then I have to work at 2, which is going to suck, but whatever.
You go hard.
Yeah. Yeah. But I will have had 3 days of naps and
yes, that's right.
And I'm not gonna go too hard when we're there. I'm thinking literally every park stop is gonna be 3 hours at the most. So
and you're not running a marathon.
And not running a marathon. Although I am, and this is another thing I'm gonna do, is because we're at Saratoga, which is a great resort to run at. Because you can go into Old Key West too. They connect. It's got way more running options than most resorts. So I am gonna there's a virtual series at Run Disney that's 3 5Ks. And so I'm gonna do 2 of my 5Ks while I'm there.
For you, that's easy though.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a big deal.
I would have to recover for days if I did that. But you won't. It's just normal stuff.
It's a regular day.
Yeah, it's a normal day.
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right. Well, this sounds like a fun trip. Very different for Sharon.
Yes. I know. Short, fun, and low key.
Short.
And
relaxed.
I'm going to be dressed up. This is nothing like a normal trip for me.
Very different.
I know. It's going to be very strange. Yes.
All right. Well, have a good time. Can't wait to hear all about it, both the wedding and non-wedding stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome.
We all know that feeling. You finally manage to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "beware of dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F-words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/zip to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. Finally, at ZipRecruiter.com/zip.
We all know that feeling. You finally managed to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "Beware of Dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more.
Welcome back from your trip, Sharon.
Thanks, Shannon.
You and I are talking this time on Saturday, August 23rd. So you got back 4 days ago.
Yes, Tuesday.
How was
So
your trip?
It was so amazing. It was the best.
Okay. You shared pictures like in the patron group and on your own social media and stuff. So I'm excited to hear the story behind them.
Yes, I know. I did. I can't help I share things on the patron group on all of my trips. So I did on this one too, because it was fun. Yes.
You do. That is a benefit to having the pre-trips go up on Patreon because then people can follow along in the patron group. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's talk through it. So Friday, August 15th is where you started and you had
Yes.
a morning flight to Orlando and then a fancy car rental. Which
Yes.
car did you get?
Oh, goodness. So the fancy car rental was, in hindsight, a mistake.
Okay.
Because, first of all, if you get the fancy car from Alamo, you can't do skip the counter.
Oh,
Right. I didn't know that, but it was too late. I had already paid for it. So you have to go to the counter.
Does that explain why we've never seen the rows of the fancy cars before?
There are few of them, and they're there, but they're kind of like behind where the little kiosk thing is. And there's very few of them, and they hold the keys. So you have to go and check in at the desk, and then they give you a little thing, and then you go to the person, and the person tells you what the choices are, and then gives you the key and tells you which car to go to. So it's not as good. And when I booked it, it said like a BMW, whatever, X3 or Audi or similar. And they had like, my husband was teasing me because they had a Genesis. And I was like, what is that? And he was like, that's a nice car. I was like, what is it? And the guy was like, it's like the nice Hyundai. I was like, I don't want a nice Hyundai. It's like the Audi. So I took the Audi, but it was like a base model Audi. Like it didn't have a lot of things that usually nice cars have. I've rented BMWs before from other rental companies and they're like all belled and whistled out. This was like not at all. So, and it drove like a Sentra. So I was overall not very excited about the car.
Yeah,
but it was fine.
That's a bummer. I was imagining you going down the line and being like, that's my car.
No, I did not get to do that. But it was fine. And the car was fine. And it was cheap, which is the reason I booked it in the first place. It was like the same price as a standard car. So it didn't really matter, but I was excited about it and it turned out to be, it's fine.
So did the flight to get all the travel to get to that point go according to plan?
Yeah, it was fine. They like the morning of our flight got delayed and then got undelayed. It was weird. We kept getting these messages. It turned out it was weird because you could follow the whole thing. Like the plane we were supposed to be on got delayed coming from San Francisco. So we were supposed to be like 20 minutes delayed. And then they switched it to a different plane. And then we ended up leaving on time. So at the end of the day, we left on time and it was fine. And the flight was uneventful. It was good.
So did you drive your Audi directly to Animal Kingdom?
We did, as planned. And we had a 12 o'clock reservation for Yak and Yeti. We pulled into the parking lot at like 12:05. And I had kept checking to try to change my Yak and Yeti time, and I just could not get a different time. So I was like, well, we'll just see what happens. But it was so hot, and I wasn't willing to pay for preferred just to go to one park. So we were parked like and you know how when they pull you in, either you're like right there or you have to go way to the back. We had to go way to the back of the row, almost by the exit, and then walk. So I was like, we're taking the tram. And it's like 12:07. And I'm like, we'll just see what happens.
Alamo got you delayed.
I know, with the whole not skipping the counter thing, but it was okay at the end of the day. We went into the park. I was on the tram. I showed Kevin the map of where we were going. And because he has a bad hip and I'm a super crazy fast walker when I want to be, actually always. So I was like, I'll go and I'll just meet me there so that, I can get there quickly. And so I did that. I got there at 12:12 but it was fine. They let us in and Kevin got there 5 minutes after me.
But you're just like sweating because it's all
Oh
the
my
way at the
God.
back.
Yeah, it was so hot. It was so hot. But that was what we did first. And it was really good at Yak and Yeti. I'd never eaten there, so I wanted to try everything. So we ordered all the things that I thought looked good, which turned out to be an obnoxious quantity of food. It looked like we were eating, like 8 people were eating, and it was just the 2 of us. But so we did our best. We did
Do
not.
you remember what you liked that you would order again?
Yes, we got the lettuce cups, which I really like lettuce cups. And we got the nachos, but I had heard on somewhere, I can't remember where, on some podcast or something about how you can trade out the tuna for chicken because I don't like raw fish. It just freaks me out. So I know it's usually like sashimi fish or tuna. And so I didn't want that, but you could get it with chicken. And that's what we did. So that was really good. And then we got, my gosh, what else did we get? We both also just got salads because, we needed more food. So he got a regular salad and I got the chopped chicken salad, which was like an Asian salad with wontons in it. It was all very delicious and a lot of food.
So you would go back.
Yeah. Yeah. And we got the Landry's card, which is, it ends up being free because you pay $25 and then get $25 off your first meal. So we did that. And then the waiter explained, he was like, you never need a reservation. You can just come in if you come back. Cause he was like, is this your first time at Disney? I was like, no, it's not.
First time at Yak and Yeti.
I was like, it is my first time at Yak and Yeti though, despite the fact that it's very not my first time at Disney. And so he was like, oh, you should come back and now you can just come in. So I'm sure I will be back and order a more appropriate quantity of food.
What did you do after lunch?
We went over to Pandora and did Flight of Passage and Navi River. Both of them had like over 60-minute standby waits, but we had lightning lanes for those. So that was pretty straightforward and quick through both of those attractions. And then we walked over to Kali River. I had originally had Everest, but I changed Everest to Dinosaur because Everest is a little rough for us anyways, and Dinosaur's going away. So I had changed that before we got there. So we went over and did Kali River, which was fun as always, but very short. I forget how short it is until I go on it again. And then I'm like, it's literally, I don't know. It just feels like it's very quick, but it was good. We got very wet, which was fine for the weather. And then we stopped at Joffrey's and I got 2 drinks because I was so hot and thirsty. I was like, I'll have both of them. And then we walked over to Dinosaur and did that, which was really good. And there was also a lot of like characters around, which was fun. Like we didn't stop to meet any characters, but we saw them walking to places and like interacting with people. We saw Kevin like 3 times somehow in the 3 hours we were there in different spots, which is fun. We like him because obviously my husband's Kevin. And we went to Dinosaur. That was fun. And we were walking out of, actually after Dinosaur, we stopped at I can't remember which quick service it is, but I had seen that there's a strawberry ice cream strawberry ice cream cookie sandwich that was like a special thing for Cool Kids Summer or something like that. And so we wanted to get that because Kevin's loves strawberry ice cream. So we stopped and got that. It was enormous and it was really good. And then we walked out and we left. I had said before that I was expecting to be at Animal Kingdom from 12 to 3. We walked out of Animal Kingdom at 3:35.
Mm-hmm. And you got there a little later than
a little bit later. Yeah.
So pretty close. So from there, did you get groceries? Did you check in?
So I had checked in online. I got my room ready alert at 10:30 in the morning. It definitely knows when you land in Orlando because I had said we would arrive before 4 because I always say that. And it literally, as soon as we touch down in Orlando, I get a message. It's like, your room's not ready. And then about 20 minutes later, I got another message that said our room was ready. And I had put in a room request and I got a room that was close. It wasn't exactly, but it was very clear that they had looked at the room requests. And so it was pretty close to what we had asked for. And it actually turned out being maybe even a little nicer than what I had asked for because I didn't really know.
So does that mean you went right from Animal Kingdom to Saratoga?
We did, because also the other thing I did different from the pre-trip is that I was thinking about the groceries and decided to order Instacart ahead of time.
Okay.
So I ordered.
Your plan changed.
Our plan changed. And so we had already ordered Instacart. So we did not stop for groceries. We just went right to Saratoga.
So this was a 1-bedroom villa.
It was.
Which you were excited about the laundry, but how did you feel about this space in general?
Oh my God, I loved it so much. It was the most amazing room ever. It was so nice. And I didn't pay that much for it. It was with the AP discount, it was less than $400 a night, which is, I've been looking for my future trips, which is like nothing for that room. That's usually what a studio is. So it was just a really good deal. Hard to justify what it usually costs unless you had 3 kids with you, but the room was fantastic. It was so nice. And huge.
Yes. It's like an apartment.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very big and fancy. It was lovely. We loved it.
I see more one-bedroom villas in your future.
I keep looking. Anytime, if I can ever get a good deal on a one bedroom, I'll take it. But I think it's rare for them to be discounted very much. But I don't know. If any of our friends listen to this and they have points that they want to like share, I'll take them.
Lots of DVC members listening.
I know a lot of people with a lot of points. If you have some, you just need to get off your hands. So yeah, the room was fantastic. I did laundry as soon as I got there. I kept a running tally. I'll go ahead and spoil the ending. I did 7 loads of laundry in our 4-day trip.
It is a mystery what you were washing. Do you have a carry-on only?
No, I checked. I get free check bags with my United status anyway. And any one-way flight, I get also this priority thing where it comes right. It's like the first bag's off the belt. So it's so simple to check bags for us. And so we checked 2 bags. I had so much luggage, but we had fancy clothes plus park clothes plus hanging out at the resort. Like we ended up like wearing, it was also 1 billion degrees. So we changed a lot. So I just literally used it's a small washer. I just used it as a laundry basket and then just ran it every time it was sort of full. So that turned into 7 loads of laundry across 4 days.
Well, thank God you had that and didn't have to go to the lunchroom every time.
I know.
Although
well, then I would have done it differently. I would have done it
bigger.
differently.
They're much, much, much bigger, but just a much bigger deal to have to haul it down. So did you get your Instacart groceries from Bell Services delivered to the room around this time?
Yeah, I tried, but this was a weird, quirky thing. I called Bell Services. I also have an owner's locker, because there wasn't enough stuff in all my check luggage. So my owner's locker was there too. I called Bell Services when we got there, which was at like 4:00, and the sunny skies. We opened the balcony, blue skies everywhere. And they said they were closed because of lightning. And so they couldn't come. And they were like, we're not here right now. Try again in 30 minutes. So I just like unpacked and arranged the room. And then in an hour, I waited an hour, still sunny skies. I called again. We are still not operational. So I was like, all right. So I figured out how the car that we had was like a little hatchback. So I figured out how to put the back seats down. So it was like all open in the back. And so I just went to Bell Services myself and picked it all up, which was fine. It was fine.
Not lightning in sight.
No lightning in sight. It was very weird. And the only part that was hard about that is our room was on the 3rd floor. And so I was quite a scene carrying the owner's locker with bags of groceries on top of it, like to the elevator. There was an elevator, thankfully, but there was people in the elevator as I'm walking up, loaded down. And so they held it for me. That was a little challenging, but it was fine.
So you got settled in, and then that evening you had your first of the wedding events.
We did. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. So we were supposed to meet at 7:00 at the Boardwalk. So that's where we went. We weren't really sure where we were going. So we drove over to the Boardwalk, and this is a funny thing. I told you like that the dress code was sort of like unknown. So Kevin was like, do you think I can wear shorts? And I was like, I have no idea. So he was like, well, could you text your friends? So I texted my group of friends and I was like, Kevin needs to know if he's allowed to wear shorts. And my one friend was like, no, I hate to break it to him, but I'm pretty sure business casual means no shorts. And so I was like, okay. And he was like, but I might be wrong. And I was like, well, Kevin would rather not be underdressed, so he won't wear shorts. So then that same friend got there before us, and he was like, apologies to Kevin. There are many men in shorts, including the groom. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine.
I'm with him though. If it's a business casual, I would definitely think no shorts.
Yeah. Well, and I don't even know. Maybe she told him business casual. Like I hadn't really gotten any guidance. So better to overestimate how dressy you're supposed to be than underestimate it for sure. Yeah. So we walked into the lobby of Boardwalk. And when we did, my little friend group was all standing there. So we all met up actually, except for one of them who was supposed to be landing at MCO. And the same evening, all the trams at MCO that take you from the gates to the terminal were down. So MCO was like she sent us pictures. I've never seen anything like it. It was literally terrifying. MCO was just like it crammed full of humans. And so she was delayed terribly by that. So she wasn't there, and her husband, but
did they have to wait for the trams to come back, or did they walk? Because I've seen people walking on those tramway things.
I believe that they eventually came back up, but I'm not entirely sure. She did eventually make it. Like they literally came to the thing with their luggage eventually, like halfway through. So they got there, but it was awful.
That's off because you're stuck.
Yes.
There's nothing you can do.
There's no way out. I think she said they were talking about they might be able to, but I think it was lightning related too. So they weren't letting people walk because they would have to go outside. I was like, I'm so glad I didn't land just now because that would be very stressful. But everybody else was there and everybody was in the lobby and they had already connected with a woman from Disney who was like part of the event. So she was waiting for us. I guess she was waiting for it to be 7. And then she walked us to the venue. And the venue is called the Attic. And you can actually get to it. I think you can find it if you want to in the Boardwalk. It was like up an elevator and down a hallway. And then the space was like an indoor space that was really cute, like very Boardwalk-esque, lots of nice, cute decor and things like that. And it looked out over the boardwalk across the water, like a beautiful view with all these windows. And it had a porch. And the porch, since we're all runners, the porch is by the Abracadabra side of the boardwalk, which is a very, like almost every Run Disney race goes right through there. It's usually where Mickey is standing to meet. And so the run went right, the porch that we were on looked out right over that spot, which was just kind of cool. So
yeah, if anybody wants to see it, you can Google that at the Boardwalk and it's on the Disney wedding website.
Yes.
Fun. It's really great space. So it says
cute.
Maximum of 34 guests. So as long as you have that number of people.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. And there were not more than that many people there. It was small. And they had the little bar. They had food, like a buffet outside. So we just sort of sat around and talked. And then this was nice. They did a champagne toast first. And when they were handing it out, I just was like, no, because I don't drink. And I didn't say anything other than that. I just waved it off. And she came back with sparkling cider for me, which was sweet.
You always appreciate
an
alternative.
I do. So I was very, I hadn't even asked. It was just nice of her. So then they did a toast and then there was dinner, outside. And then it sort of became around sunset time, which was really neat that we could see the sunset out on the porch. And then then we all went outside and saw the fireworks at Epcot. Like you could see them from that outdoor space. So everybody went and did that. And then we left there at about 9 o'clock, a little after 9, because I think that's what time the fireworks were. So we left just after the fireworks ended.
Nice. That's a great way to kick it off. And the food at this, was it just through Disney catering kind of thing?
Yeah, I believe so. A Disney employee came and greeted us and came around to the table and just asked how the food was. And she said she was the chef for the meal. And she had a Disney cast member thing on. And it was like a buffet, but it was really good. There was, pasta and fish and chicken and salad and lots of things, breadsticks. It was, and for dessert, she had a churro ice cream station thing. So they were making churros fresh. The guy was making them. And then they had ice cream that you could get. And then like a whole set of toppings you could put on top of it. So as somebody with a serious sweet tooth, I was very happy for that.
Yeah. And that's fun because I'm imagining your friends planning this and they have all these options of this food and that food. And they were like, we're definitely having the churro station.
Totally. Well, she and I are the same age and her kids are the same ages as my kids. And so she was saying how like I can't remember if it was her son or her daughter. One of her kids had been like, we have to have the churros. So I think they had some input as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, when in Rome, when in Disney, you got to have the churros.
Yeah, they were very good.
So was that the end of Friday, August 15th then?
Yes, it was. Then we went back to the hotel.
And Saturday, August 16th was wedding morning.
Yes. So wedding morning, we were told that we were meant to meet the bus and they went over this at the dinner the night before several times because I guess it had changed up. People were confused and it was a really big deal that nobody messed this up in order to be able to get to the wedding. So the wedding coordinator person had come and made sure everybody understood what they needed to do. So we were being picked up. There was Kevin and I, and then one of our other friends were staying at Saratoga. And so we were the last pickup of the bus and we were supposed to meet at the lobby at 7:05 was what
Can I stop you for a second? Because you're saying bus and beforehand, I don't know if you knew exactly what it was going to be. It's like a private car service of some sort. So is this like a regular Disney bus that we're used to seeing or was it something different?
It was a bus that runners are used to seeing. It was and inside it felt exactly like a Run Disney bus. So it was like a charter bus, and that's what they used for
Okay.
through Mears. I think it was a Mears bus, and it had, the cloth seats and it was a full-size bus.
Yeah, they're a little nicer than the Disney buses that
Yes.
go to
No
the
plastic
parks.
seats. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so you got picked up by this charter bus.
We did. And we were the last stop, and the bus was almost full. And then I take that back. There was one stop after that. After they picked us up, they went to the Grand Floridian, and I thought that was the last stop because I thought that was like where we were going. But they actually stopped at the Grand Floridian and picked up more guests. And then they were telling us, okay, now we're going to go do security. And then they left the lobby of the Grand Floridian and went into like the wedding pavilion area. And the security was that a lady from Disney came on the bus and walked through and looked at our bags. Just sort of like, she had a little flashlight, and you just had to open your bag. And she's okay. So that's how we went through security. We didn't even have to move. And then we drove from there to, the backstage at Magic Kingdom. When we were driving, I was noticing we were kind of behind Big Thunder, and it was all construction, like a big construction site with lots of like dirt that had been pushed around. So I assume that's the future villains area, I think is what that's meant to be. So we drove through there and then eventually stopped at the backstage place, and we all get off of the bus, and there's a guy with a wand thing who directs us, and he's okay, you're gonna all follow me and we're gonna go. It turned out that we learned later that what had been supposed to happen was we were supposed to go into the Magic Kingdom, and those double-decker Main Street vehicles, we were all supposed to get on one of those and go to the wedding place, but the people got confused, and so we didn't end up doing that, which wasn't a big deal. But what we ended up doing was just walking. So when you go to the Halloween party and you go off to that little path on the right-hand side of like where the confectionery is, that side road that comes out towards Tomorrowland Terrace.
The bypass.
Yes, they walked us through the bypass, and it was still, the park wasn't open yet, or like guests hadn't been let in yet. So we walked as a group through the bypass, and then we came out like between the Plaza Inn and Tomorrowland Terrace, like through there. And then the wedding itself was set up in the garden area, which is where the garden viewing is for the dessert parties. So anybody who's ever been to a dessert party, it's that same spot that they take you to for the fireworks is where the wedding itself was. So they walked us in there. It was all set up and pretty, like the chairs were all set up, and they had a little station with water for people. And they had I wrote in my notes that it was a string quartet, but there were three. So it was a string trio, I guess, but they were playing music. It was cute. They were playing like Disney music and stuff. While we waited, the runner group, we all just took one row in the seats. On the seats, they had these little pouches of rose petals, and there were rose petals all in this like fancy pattern along the ground.
And are you the only guest inside Magic Kingdom at this time?
Yes. So we got to that garden area at 7:40 a.m. There were no guests, but then at 7:50 we start seeing guests. So we start seeing, and this all ended up, I mean, we talked about it in the patron group. It ended up being lots of posts on Facebook groups in general, because guests that were just at the Magic Kingdom posted about it because they saw. So she at the time was in the carriage, Cinderella's carriage, like at the front of Main Street. So as people are coming into the park, she's there like in front of where you meet Mickey in the carriage, or getting into the carriage. We were already at the garden, and we just see people like walking towards going to rope drop, but they weren't obviously letting anybody in that area. So that sidewalk next to the garden and towards Tomorrowland Terrace was all like inaccessible to guests.
So the pictures that the guests caught on Main Street are a view that you didn't have because you were already seated.
Right. Yeah, we didn't see the carriage on Main Street. We saw it go down Main Street when it was leaving, but we didn't see that part.
Do you know if they have professional photos of this whole process?
They do.
Going down Main Street, right? Okay.
I mean, they had photographers everywhere. So she had, and so at all the places there was a photographer doing things, which I assume she coordinated through Disney. I think they were Disney people.
Yes, hopefully.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yes. And she also said that Disney, I guess maybe the Disney wedding people, social media had asked her if they could take photos and post them. She was like, sure. So I told her obviously that I was doing this podcast, and I was like, I don't know, some people are more private than others, but she was very happy to have it all shared. So
yeah, she's into it. Okay.
Yeah.
So the guests are coming in. She's in the
Yeah.
carriage.
Yes. And then a different Main Street vehicle comes along first and drops off like the rest of the wedding party, like her parents and her, the groom, her kids, maid of honor. There were a few bridesmaids and groomsmen. So all of them came in. And then the carriage comes. And so it came up Main Street, and there's people where it comes, and then it turns right in front of the garden, and then there's nobody else that can come with it, and then makes a right into the side of the garden area with her in it. Very beautiful with the little white ponies with their hair braided. It was so magic.
Mm-hmm.
And so she steps out, she walks forward, and her dad met her and, goes up the aisle, and then they had the ceremony.
They had the ceremony. And how long did that last?
Not long. I mean, I want to say the ceremony was maybe 10 or 15 minutes. It was short. It was short and sweet. Very nice. Very, they did their vows. They did a unity candle with her kids, and they did a little thing with them. And that was that.
And were the regular park guests, were they far enough away that it wasn't like a distraction or anything?
They were, because they were like on the side was where some of them were walking past, but none of them could walk in front of it. So I didn't even really notice park guests while the ceremony was happening. I noticed them more when she was leaving, but they weren't a distraction at all.
It seems like it was mostly when she was in the carriage going down Main Street, which
of course,
I would have stopped and taken pictures too.
100%. I would have been so excited if I had just stumbled upon that as a park guest.
Yes, but aren't you glad now that you got to go and didn't just have to observe?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was so neat. It was so neat to be a part of it.
Okay, so then wedding is over. Sounds like maybe around 8:15 or so.
Yes. But then there was more that happened. So then they were doing photos. So they had sort of just told everybody like, okay, we're going to hang around here for a while. There's going to be different photos. So she was doing photos with like different groups, including there was one with the Run Disney group, which was all of us. And then the photographer was also taking pictures they took a picture of me and Kevin. They took a picture of whoever couples wanted photos. So I'm sure she'll share those with us eventually. And then they had told us not to throw the flower petals when the ceremony was over, that they were for something else. So then when they were ready to leave, and this was probably at 8:45 by the time all those photos are done, the carriage is there, and they had us go to the sidewalk in front of the garden and line up like parallel lines with our flowers for like a flower petal send off. So then the two of them walked down through us, and that's when we threw the rose petals on them. Then they went into the carriage together and then carriaged off together.
Where did the carriage take them?
Back down Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
So it went in front of the garden, took a left, and then took a left out on Main Street.
And did it stop at the front of the park, or did they get to go further than that?
I think they went out, like they went off stage. You know what I mean? They went through an exit at the front of the park. And
okay, so they were back. Does it take them as far as the Grand Floridian?
I know. I think they got a vehicle from there to the.
I'm obsessed about the logistics of the horses.
I know. I think the horses quickly get shuttled back to Fort Wilderness to get a rest and some AC and some food. They have a short little work day after their pampering, because they were so cute.
But where did you go?
So they made us wait in the garden because the park opened at 9:00. There's that little show on the castle. So they said we were staying until that was over. So we just stayed in the garden area after they left it was maybe another 10 minutes. And then the little show went off on the castle. And then we followed the same people. Oh, the other thing, in that time, one of my friends and I were like, can we go to the bathroom? And so they let us, the bathrooms that are right there next to Tomorrowland Terrace. We asked, and they said that's where we need. So we were like, okay. And they just let us back in because they saw us leave. So we did that. And then we walked out the same way we had walked in, down the bypass, and no guests were there. That, it was closed to guests, and went back to the same part off to the side where the same bus was, and got back on the bus. And then the bus drove us home.
Drove you home or drove you to the Grand Floridian?
Home, all the way back to Saratoga.
Okay. So everybody had to be taken back.
Yes. And I believe there were some people, because there were, I don't know, maybe like 30 to 40 people total at the wedding. And I think some of them were staying off site. Actually, I know some of them were, because two of my friends were staying off site. And So those people had all parked at Grand Floridian and been like shuttled from there. So they, were dropped off there where they got their cars and went back to wherever they were coming from.
We all know that feeling. You finally managed to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "Beware of Dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more. We all know that feeling. You finally managed to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "Beware of Dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more.
And so now you're back at Saratoga, and you had told us that other than the wedding-related activities in the parks, this was a non-park day for you.
Yeah, we were back at the resort at 9:34, and we decided to go into the gift shop. And I always get a pin for every trip. It's like I have a bunch of pin boards behind me, and I like every trip that I do, I just get one pin that reminds me of it. And so I love it because I walk past it all the time, and like I can just see a pin and I just think about what trip it was. So I found in the Saratoga gift shop this little Mickey and Minnie wedding pin, like this little bride and groom. I was like, how perfect is that? And what are the odds that they have that at the Saratoga resort? So I got that. And then we decided to get some food because we were hungry. And so we got some food there at the Artist Palette. I got avocado toast, which was really good. I think Kevin got Mickey waffles, but I really like the menu there. They have a lot of not so typical things. The avocado toast was delicious if you happen to like avocado toast. And we were leaving, we wrapped up there at 10 from being, getting some food and getting my pin. We walked back to our room and just napped. We just chilled out until about 11:30, and then we decided to go to the pool. Our room was in the paddock. We were in the room that was right next to the paddock pool, in the building that was right next to the paddock pool, which was really nice. So we went over to the paddock pool at about 11:30, which was okay, but there were no chairs in the shade. And it was very hot. So we kind of found a little spot of shade that was like, there was one chair there that wasn't being used. And so we just put our stuff on that chair. It was really like on the edge of a little bit of shade. And Kevin just stayed in the water, and I went down the slide a couple times. And then we were like, okay, let's decide to maybe do something else. So we decided to try the other pool, because there's also the Rocks pool or whatever it's called that's up by the quick service. So at 12, so we were only there for a half hour. We went up to that pool, and we were so lucky. Like we walked in, and just as we were walking in, there was a table with an umbrella, and these people were standing up, and we were right there. So we snagged this table that had shade because it had an umbrella. And so we camped out there and got some food from their quick service, like the pool bar. We got a pizza and like a salad and shared it. And they bring it to your table. They give you like a little flag that you put on your table, and they come around and give it to you. And we hung out there for about another hour. And I went down that slide, I think 3 times. I do enjoy me a slide. That's why I can't do the values. I can't do a resort that doesn't have a water slide. What are you going to do? So we hung out there for a bit in the shade. And then what time did we go back? Oh, so we walked back to the room around 1:30. And I thought, because I always stay at Coronado, I assumed that it was housekeeping every other day, because at the Coronado, there's like a thing that's in your room that explains that. I just assumed it was the same. When we get back to our room, it's about 1:30, and maybe between 1:30 and 2, and there's a housekeeping staff person standing at the door, and she's, oh, did you not want housekeeping? Because we had the do not disturb thing on because we had been napping earlier. And I said, oh, we just checked in yesterday. And she was like, well, do you need anything? I was like, no, not really. I was like, maybe some more towels. So she gave us more towels. And then when we came in, the phone rang, and it was the front desk being like, we just wanted to see if you need housekeeping because your sign has been on the door. And I was like, they are aggressive about making sure you get housekeeping. So I was surprised that was every day. But I found out later that's only if you book cash. If you're a DVC stay, it's not the same, but we were a cash reservation. So
Exactly. It's like a couple times a week, I think, if you're
yeah, if you're
points.
points. And so my conclusion is that because that's the majority of the reservations at Saratoga, those small minority that get housekeeping every day, the housekeeping is like on point. Like because they're not bombarded, like they're not that busy. So they're like on it, which was nice. And that sort of surprised me. And then Kevin decided to rest a little bit, and I decided to go check out the gym because the Saratoga gym is really big and fancy. So I went around there at 2:00 and just did like the strength workout. And there were kids there, which kind of was weird. Like kids had been there. You're not supposed to be able to go into unless you're like 14. But there were parents that had their like 7 or 8-year-olds with them. And there was like a 7-year-old the dad was letting like run on the treadmill in sandals. And I was like, oh my God, this is like a injury waiting to happen. But I didn't say anything because I am not like that. I just was like, please don't let that kid get hurt, which was weird. Like I've been on Disney cruise when people have tried to do that. And there's always like a staff person there who like shuts it down real quick, but there's nobody there staffing it. So people can do what they do. I mean, at least there were parents. I would have said something if there were kids without parents, but there were parents with the kids. So that kind of stressed me out a little bit though. And then I also wanted to do a run the next morning, and I wanted to figure out where the path was to Old Key West. So I walked around a little bit. I was going to rent a bike and try to scope it out, but it was so hot that I was like, I can't do that. Like I can't, it would be too much. So I just sort of tried to walk because I saw where I thought the path was, but you had to kind of go into the golf course area. And I'm like really hyper conscientious about how golfers don't want runners on their golf courses. So I didn't want to be wrong. So I ended up stopping at the golf pro shop, which they have there. It's sort of behind the check-in. There's like a golf, that's where you can, I guess, go to play golf. And there's a pro shop there. And I talked to the golf pro and he said, yeah, no, you just go right there and there's the bridge and you turn right and that'll take you to Old Key West. So I confirmed and checked where that bridge was. And the golf pro shop is actually really nice if you want like golf shirts. You know, I almost bought one for Kevin, but I was like, he has enough golf shirts, but they have a lot of stuff in there.
Were they Disney ones?
Yeah. Yeah, they were Disney. I think many of them were like Disney golf themed, but they were definitely Disney. And like the nice, you know, they're nicer shirts than you would get, you know, normally. So I was surprised. And you would never go there because it's really like back behind, kind of tucked away where that little shop was.
No, but I think if people like that style of shirt and they want a souvenir, that seems like a really fun option too.
Yeah.
Even if
it
you're
was
not
cute.
playing golf during your trip, you might like wearing it after.
Yeah, they had a lot of them. It wasn't like they had a couple. They had a bunch of different varieties, which was neat. So then I walked back to the room. I stopped at Artist Palette and got banana pudding. I don't know why. I just did. I was
Because
like,
you can.
I was a little bit hungry, so I ate some banana pudding on my walk back. And then we got ready. And Kevin decided that now he was allowed to wear shorts. He did not wear shorts to the reception, to the ceremony in the morning, but he and the friend who had said no shorts the night before concluded that shorts were legit for this event moving forward because she had said the night was more casual.
Maybe resort casual is the
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah.
Which I think that includes shorts because it's hot.
Yes. So we got ready and then we decided, she also had shared that that at the reception, it was going to be like snacks and dessert. Like it was called a dessert party. So I was a little unsure how much food there was going to be. And also we found out that I think it was a mistake, but the transportation, because she had added us later, they hadn't coordinated to have transportation for us from Saratoga. So we needed to go to the Riviera because there was a bus, but it wasn't going to stop at Saratoga. So we needed to go to the Riviera. So I was a little worried about parking there, but it turned out to be no big deal. So we drove over and I decided to try to go. We were supposed to meet in the lobby of Riviera at 7. And I wanted to make sure we didn't have any snafus. And so what we did was we went over there about 5 and then didn't have any trouble parking. We just gave their name. Like she gave me like her room number in case there was a problem, but they didn't have an issue. I was a little worried because it's a Skyliner resort or whatever, but it was fine. And then we went in, but nobody was there yet because it was early. And so we went up to Topolino's where we did not have a reservation, but we were able to sit at the bar, which was perfect. I mean, we had a window seat, perfect view, and we got just like a snack. Like I had a salad and Kevin had a bowl of soup and drinks and just sort of chilled out there, which was really fun. And I got their mocktail, whatever it was, some kind of lemon thing, because they did not have non-alcoholic beer, but they did have a mocktail. So I got that. And we just sort of had a little snack and then went down to the lobby around 7. We got there at 6:45, and then people started showing up that we recognized from the ceremony. So that started, I was just nervous. I was like, I hope we're in the right spot. But then we started seeing people we recognized because our friends were all meeting. All of the running people had park tickets. And so they were just going to meet us in Epcot. So they weren't going to be there. So that was making me extra nervous because I was like, I don't know if anybody's going to be there that I know. But actually the bride and her family were staying at Riviera. And so they ended up coming on the bus too from there. So she came down in her wedding dress, but with her Run Disney sneakers on, and met us in the lobby. And of course, it's so fun being like with the bride and Disney because people are like, oh, like everybody's talking to her. Yeah. And so she was on the bus too. So then the same bus from the morning, I assume, same size bus, came to the front of the Riviera, and we all got on it, including her. But then she had shared through a text message earlier that day that she was a little bit disappointed because they had canceled all outdoor events at Epcot because of lightning. And I will tell you, when we were at the Riviera, like when we were pulling into the Riviera, you could see flashes of lightning. When we were sitting at Topolino's, I don't know, it literally looked like lightning strikes, like just bolts of lightning hitting the ground frequently wherever we were looking. So I was like, yeah, I guess that makes sense that we're not going to have an outdoor thing. And I hadn't really known where where the reception was supposed to be. It had been initially planned for an area outside of Germany right next to the water that they like rope off. And so it was supposed to be there, but it got moved indoors into a room in Norway, which I had actually been in before because that's where they used to do the frozen dessert party, which existed before COVID and which I have done. So it was when she said it was going to be in Norway near Frozen, I was like, I bet it's in that same room. And it definitely was, which was fine. I mean, it looks like a room that would be like at a event space, like at a hotel for an event. It's like a, room. It's not very big, but it's fine. The thing that was funny though, was they had, I don't know why, they had the Frozen music playing the whole time. This Frozen themed music was going on the whole time. I was like, I don't know if that's like a remnant of the Frozen dessert party, but it was nice. They had like tables, they had a buffet they had a slider bar, which was like, they had chicken fingers, they had little burger sliders and little chicken sliders, and then buns and toppings. So they had that for food, plus like fruit and like crudité kind of things. And then they had wedding cake, obviously, and also a Mickey bar dipping station, which was like they took a Mickey bar and then you could choose between two things. It was like chocolate and toffee or white chocolate and Fruity Pebbles cereal. And so they would dip the Mickey bar in the chocolate and then in the topping, and then they put it into liquid nitrogen and then pulled it out without a poof. So that was fun. So we had those.
That is fun. I think they used to do something like that at the Star Wars dessert party.
Really?
In the before times. Yeah.
I never went to that one.
The big smoky effect, I remember.
Yes. It was very cool. It was very cool. And her cake was really nice too. It was churro cake, which tasted like kind of like carrot cake without the carrots and raisins. Was the taste
cake without the carrots. Yeah.
The taste profile. It was tasty. So they did that, and then they walked us over to that place where the original reception was supposed to be, outside of Germany, the same spot, because it wasn't raining. What's really weird is you could still see lightning like over to the side, but the fireworks happened. So it was like viewing for the fireworks was there. So we watched the fireworks, sort of as a group. And then here's where I make a dumb mistake. So two of my friends, we were like kind of beat and wanted to go back because now it's 9:30 and we're tired. And my friends had not taken the bus. They had all come into Epcot. So my one set of friends was going to the parking lot and my other set was staying at the Swan and Dolphin. And so they were going to walk out at International Gateway, and the bride and family are still like the photographers there and taking pictures like with the, spaceship Earth in the background and doing things. And, so our friends were like, we're just going to go. And so everybody says goodbye to her. And I'm like, we're just going to walk out with them. We'll just take the Skyliner back to the Riviera, which was like, all right, sounded like a good idea. So I was getting to be like 9:30, 9:40. We walk out of International Gateway and say goodbye to our friends who head off to the Swan and Dolphin. And the line for the Skyliner was like, I've never, ever seen it like that, because I guess I've never left after fireworks and taken it. But I was like, you have got to be kidding me. It was like wrapped around outside of the Skyliner station a bunch of times. And I was like, well, we have no other choice. I mean, I guess we could have taken an Uber from Beach Club to Riviera, but I was like, nah, we'll just stick it out. So we did.
How long did it take?
Let me see. I think I took notes about what time it was. No, I didn't. It probably took about 20 minutes. It wasn't really that bad. I mean, it moves, and then it's like a classic Disney line, because you go through these like 3 switchbacks outside the station. Then you go up the ramp into the station and you're like, I'm almost there. And you turn a corner and there's more switchbacks and you're like, what? I'm still not there. But my thought to myself was like, why are people so excited about being at a Skyliner resort exactly? This is no fun at the end of the night, but whatever. It was fine. And the Riviera was the first stop. I Googled it. I was like, what is the first stop when you leave Epcot? And it was the first stop. So I was happy about that, at least.
Yeah. What we like to do is leave during the fireworks, because then you beat the crowds and you get fireworks views from up high.
That is a much better idea. If I am ever in a situation where I need to leave via Skyliner, that will be my plan going forward. Because it was, especially because the whole time we've been here so far, we're like getting backstage access and like doing all this. And then, I do lightning lanes also. So like suddenly, okay, this is a different vibe. I'm with like sweaty park goers in a slow moving line of melting down tired children and, irritated people who are just ready to go to bed. But it was fine. I mean, it's a Disney experience.
So you got back to the Riviera where your car was, and then made it back to the resort?
Got back to the Riviera, got back to the resort. It was sort of a late night for me. I mean, I think I got to bed at 11 by the time it was all said and done. Got back in. I think we showered because we had been outside in the gross and everything. So it took a little bit of time. And then, did the laundry, because there's that. I remember going to bed and the dryer was running and I was like, the sound of laundry lulling me to sleep. It was nice.
Gotta have your routine. All right. The next day was Sunday, August 17th. And this was a park day.
It was. And it changed.
Okay.
So it was meant to be just a day at Hollywood Studios with me rope dropping Epcot. But turns out one of my friends is a member of Club 33 and asked if we wanted to do the parks the next day with them. And if so, and I said, sure, but Kevin doesn't have a hopper. And he was like, oh no, I can get you tickets. So he gave us tickets. So instead of using my annual pass, I tapped in with a ticket that he had given me, and so did Kevin. And this was a park ticket to use while going to the park with him. And also I don't know, gave you some kind of magic. So we went and did a park hopping day instead of.
And by some kind of magic, you mean lightning lanes?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to book them. They just like work.
It's like Premier Pass.
Yes. Except you can hop.
Oh, well, that's even better.
It's like bonus Premier Pass. Yeah. So we did that. And he had offered this Friday night at the reception thing, or at the rehearsal dinner. So he had mentioned it. Apparently, I don't know how it all works, but they have a certain number of them that they get and they expire. So he was like, I'll get rid of them anyway. He was like, I need to use them. Why don't you come with us? And I was like, okay, sure. Twist my arm.
So it's the 4 of you touring, and you said you hop. So where did you start?
We started at the Magic Kingdom. Actually, the next morning, because we're not super stressed about rope drop for sure. The next morning, I did get up and do the run because I wanted to do those 2 virtual 5Ks. So the first thing I did was woke up and did my run. And I actually ran into the other person also doing a run. So we ran and then we drove to Magic Kingdom. I paid for preferred parking because it was, this is the way that I play this game. if preferred parking is $20 more than regular parking, I get it. And I pay with a $20 bill because if you pay with cash, it's free. This is how girl math works. But if it's $25 more, and it depends, sometimes it's 20 more, sometimes it's 25 more, then I don't, because then it's fiscally irresponsible. So on this particular day, it was in fact $20 more, which hasn't happened in a while. Like for a long time, it seems to have been 25, but this time it was 20. So I paid for preferred parking. And so we got into the Magic Kingdom. I mean, we were right there by the tunnel, and we got onto the monorail at 9:03 to do Magic Kingdom. And then the plan was to just do Magic Kingdom like a loop, like to just go in a circle. And so that's basically what we did. We went to Jungle Cruise first and had the best skipper ever. She was hysterical. Like I can't quite do it justice. Like she was pretending to be scared and like screaming and hitting the deck. And I mean, she was just a really good skipper, which I appreciate. Oh, and I was sitting right at the front next to her, and part of her shtick was like she asked some sort of question. Oh, she said, who here thinks that the captain should go down with the ship? And I raised my hand, and then she was like, and what's your name? And I said, Sharon. And she was like, this is Captain Sharon. And so then she kept calling me Captain Sharon throughout the rest of the ride. She was like, if the boat goes down, look for Captain Sharon. So that was kind of fun. And so we got on that at 9:25, and it was really fun. Then we went to Pirates. Really didn't actually need the lightning lane because it was like a 5-minute wait, but we used it anyway. And did that at 9:42. And then we went to Tiana's, got on that at 10:03, no problem. We were in the third row, so we didn't get super duper wet, which was nice. Then we were going to go to Mansion, but that was closed. So we just wandered on past and got some drinks. I can't actually remember where we got drinks, but we got drinks somewhere because we were really thirsty. Then we did Peter Pan at 10:29. Then we went to Seven Dwarfs at 10:43. Then we did Space at 11. So we're just like doing a loop of all the good ones. Then we did Tron at 11:25, and we did not ask for the front row. I usually do if I pay for it with an individual lightning lane. Oh, and I had an individual lightning lane for it for this day because I decided to buy one to do in the morning, but I moved it to the next day. So I was able to move that lightning lane. But anyway, we got the first row and didn't even ask. It was just what we were given, which was neat. And then I was looking for a place to eat, and we have to do a new thing every day. Not that having the fancy tickets wasn't a new thing. I mean, it was definitely a new thing, but I decided to get us lunch at the Plaza because I'd never eaten there.
Reservation or no?
It was through a reservation, but I booked it like at 11 for 11:35. So I hadn't booked it ahead because I didn't know when we would want to eat or whatever.
It's such a small restaurant, but sometimes I'm surprised there's reservations available.
I know. But it's also underrated. I don't think a lot of people, it's not a hard one to get, but it is I'd never been inside of it before. So we booked lunch for 11:35, and we were seated in that little round room off to the side with all the glass windows, which was cute. And the food was good. I got a milkshake for my drink because they didn't have non-alcoholic beer. It was funny. I was like, do you have any non-alcoholic beer? And they were like, no. And then I said, do you have Coke Zero? And they said, no. And I said, well, then I guess I have to drink a milkshake. That's my third choice beverage. So I got a milkshake and a salad, and Kevin got like a club sandwich or something. It was good and, pretty quick, and someplace I had never been before. So it checked the box of doing something new every day.
Did your friends join you for that?
They did not join us for lunch, but then we met up with them after that.
Okay.
So then, and then the other thing before leaving Magic Kingdom is I decided to, I had brought all the medals from the virtual challenge for the runs, because you get the medals in the mail, and then you do the virtual runs and you put your times in on the website, and then you have the medals. And so normally in a Run Disney weekend, you like take pictures with the medals in the parks. So I had brought them all. So I went to a PhotoPass person and got pictures with the virtual challenge medals. I usually don't sign up for these, but these were so cute because they were themed to the rides. So one was Pirates, one was Jungle Cruise, and one was Big Thunder. I have to ride each of the rides on the day that I do the challenge, but Big Thunder's down, and it's going to be down in California by the time I get there. So I wish they hadn't chosen that one on a time when you can't ride it, but such is life.
Is it hard to go through security with your medals?
Not at all in the parks, but I did get stopped at TSA when I was leaving.
Okay.
So, but that usually doesn't happen. It was weird. And the TSA person was super nice. She was like, is it like, I had on when we were leaving Orlando, I had on a run airing. It wasn't a Run Disney, but it was a different run like race shirt on. And so I don't know if that was why, but she looked at the bag and looked at me and she was like, are there like race medals in here? And I was like, yeah. And they were in a little pouch by themselves. So I was like, it's that orange pouch right there. And it was quick, but I've never been stopped for them in the parks.
Yeah.
They're heavy though. So after this, I left them in the car through the rest of the day because I didn't want to carry them around in my bag because they're not light. So we got on the monorail to go to Epcot at 12:28 and it started to pour. Actually, when the monorail came into the station at Magic Kingdom, it was soaked, but it wasn't raining. And so I was like, oh, it was raining somewhere. And then on the way to Epcot, it just started pouring rain, like monsoon pouring rain. And so when we got off the monorail, it was still pouring. But I had said to Kevin at the beginning of the day, I was like, it's not going to rain today because I have ponchos in my bag. And that did not work. But I did have ponchos in my bag and I had brought extra socks and I forgot to tell him to bring extra socks because we wear Crocs and socks in the park because they're the best footwear for park touring, according to me. And so I bring extra socks because if it rains, then the socks get wet, but then you can dry off the Crocs and put new socks on. So we weren't too deterred by the rain. We just put on the ponchos and let our feet get soaked. He took off his socks. He just walked in the Crocs without the socks. I let my socks get wet because I had extras. So we went over to the land and did Soarin' and then and we were put in not B1. We were put in B2, but it was still B, which is fine. And that was at 1:23. And then we did Guardians at 1:43. And I noted how much I hate the pre-shows there. I just hate the crowd at the pre-show. It's close to ruining that ride for me. Like I just get so like overwhelmed in that room with all those people and then everybody rushing to get through. Like, why do they have to do it that way?
It's so much.
I just make it a line. Like, I don't care if I'm in the back of the line, just make it an orderly line, like an orderly process, not like a horde. It's not my favorite. But anyway, I ran on that particular Guardians ride. We were going to do test track, but because it was still lightning, it was down. So we did not do that. And we got back on the monorail at 2:15. And the rain at that point had sort of chilled out and slowed down, which was nice.
You dipped in and dipped out.
Dipped in and dipped out. Did our two favorites. I mean, we could have gone over and done Frozen and Remy, but we don't really care about them. And it was hot. So I didn't really want to walk that far.
It's a whole other part of the park.
Yeah, it's like a hike and it's not worth it to me, even though I could have done it with the lightning lanes, but I didn't really care. And then we went to Hollywood Studios. And at Hollywood Studios.
No, but how? I need to know the stuff.
Oh, we drove. So we took the monorail back to the TTC and then went to our car and then drove to Hollywood Studios.
Okay. And you had preferred parking, so you still got to use it.
Yes, but when we went to because when you use preferred parking at multiple parks, you have this like receipt thing that you have to give the parking attendant. And we gave the parking attendant the receipt for the preferred parking. And she said, preferred parking isn't open right now because of the weather, but you can pull up as far as you can. And we were like, all right. I later concluded that the issue is that those parking director people can't be outside if it's lightning. So then they can't direct traffic. So then they don't do preferred, I guess. It was weird. Mm-hmm. But I was kind of annoyed because, it was my big preferred parking is only $20 day. And now I was maybe not going to get it. And it was still like not lovely outside. So I kind of really wanted it. So we pulled in and I can't really explain how this worked, but we kind of went the wrong way and through a place we weren't really supposed to go and somehow finagled around things and ended up in the front row, like by where they have the e-vehicle chargers and like at the very front. Like we managed to get our way there because it was chaos because there was nobody parking anybody. And we were like, well, we have the preferred. So we're just gonna decide that we can go this way.
They told you to go as far as you could, and you did.
We did. We ended up in cast parking though a little bit somehow before we got back there. I mean, it was kind of a weird roundabout way of getting there because it's all one way kind of things, but we figured it out and we got a good parking space at the end of the day. So I didn't get too annoyed that the preferred wasn't working. And then we went in and did the 3:10 Villains show. The last time I did the Villains show, I had to wait through a whole show to get in. This time we got there at 3:10 for the 3:30 show, I should say. And when we got there at 3:10, they had already let everybody in and they were still letting people in. So they let us in, but we were like among the last people in. So we had kind of seats off to the side, but towards the front, because a lot of times people won't, like they'll fill in the middle. So it was very different than the seat I had the first time. And we sat there for 20 minutes before the show started. They really let you in early, which was nice, actually, just sitting in air conditioning and relaxing. And it turned out to be a pretty nice seat because we were pretty far to the front and you could just see like the one side because, there's characters on both sides. And so the side we were on we were really close and it was really good. And then we're starting to slow down. That's what I'm saying. At this point, we're like, I'm tired. Like I'm a little worn out. I don't know if I can keep going.
Is it the heat that's making you worn out? Because you have a lot of energy and you run all the time and stuff. So what is contributing?
Well, I mean, I had run that day in the very, very hot heat. And and it was go because I really wanted it to be like a pretty slow day. But then you're like, okay, we can just do whatever we want. And so we weren't really taking our time because we were just like, do the next thing, do the next thing, do the next thing.
You were trying to take full advantage of
our special ticket.
Lighting lanes.
Yeah, of our special ticket, which was neat. So after that, my husband has a good friend who is like a giant Star Wars fan. And I actually helped him plan I was a TA, a travel agent for 4.5 seconds. And I booked exactly 2 trips in that little brief window of my life. And one of them was for this friend of my husband's. And he has a sweet little family and he's a huge Star Wars fan. And so we wanted to get him the Star Wars popcorn bucket. And so we stopped at the popcorn cart and got that. And they also had another Star Wars zipper thing that they were also selling. So we got both of those things for him, which was a great idea, except it was kind of cumbersome carrying them around after that. But that was fine. We went and did that. Oh, and Slinky Dog is down because of the weather. And Slinky Dog is my favorite. So I wanted to end with it. And so I was, we'll stay as long as we can and see if it comes back up. But if it doesn't, fine. So we went and did Toy Story Mania, which is probably Kevin's favorite ride. So we went and did that. He beat me. Although I beat him like the first 2 games. And then I think I just lost focus and he rebounded and beat me. But it was fun as usual. Then we went over, Slinky was still down as we were checking. Then we went over to Star Wars and did Millennium Falcon, which was so funny. We were behind, we were the engineers or whatever. And in front of us was a family who had children and did not speak English. And so the cast members are trying to explain to them like what they need to do. And they clearly do not understand. I don't think they spoke Spanish either. I think they might've spoken Italian. So this is going to be interesting. And so we go in and on the ride, the drivers, they kind of figured out what they were supposed to do. But the 2 people who were supposed to shoot, they didn't do anything. They didn't know. So they were just sitting there and then it doesn't shoot. So like you're behind the train and it's shoot the train. And we're like, and we're just hanging out. I was like, I had no idea what would happen. It was really funny. So I got to see what happens when you don't push any of the buttons. It matters if you're a gunner. And we were able to shoot the torpedoes as the engineers, but then it didn't get reeled in. I mean, if you ever wondered if it actually matters, it does.
I definitely assumed that they would set it up so that if nobody pushes the buttons, it'll just proceed because not every seat's always full.
Yeah, it did. What it did was it didn't shoot the train down, but then eventually the train crashes. And so you like that part where you kind of fall down, that still happened. But there were no shooting of the train things that made the train blow up. Like that didn't happen. We were just behind the train, not shooting at it. It was very funny. And I was like, I wanted to reach over and like push, but I didn't. I was like, oh, just see what happens here. So that was kind of funny. Then we did Rise of the Resistance at 4:47, which was good.
So your lightning lanes work for single pass, multi-pass, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. They just beep, work. Magic. So then we went to Backlot is my favorite quick service in all of the world because they just have one like vegetarian entree that I find very good. So it's like a tofu teriyaki thing. So I was hungry and I was like, can we just stop there? So we stopped there and got some dinner. And as we're sitting there, we were thinking, we walked over, Slinky's still down. It's like almost 6 o'clock. No, it was 5:15. And I was like, well, if Slinky doesn't come back up, like I'm good. Like I'm done. Like I don't need to do anymore. And we were supposed to do Fantasmic that night, but I was like, not a chance. Like I'm cooked. But as we were sitting at dinner, I was like, we'll go out and do Mickey and Minnie. Because that's sort of like a loop. We'll leave, we'll do Mickey and Minnie, and then we'll just go. And but while we were sitting at dinner, Slinky came back up. So we went and did Slinky, and then I got the back row, which is my favorite, without asking. and then left. I wrote "so hot and dreaming of my bed."
But you didn't have a long walk because you had that front row parking.
We had the front row parking, so we wrapped up the night. We said goodbye to our friends. We, chilled out, walked slowly and exhaustedly out of the third park for the day, completely having abandoned my very chill park touring day. That was the original idea.
I know, but it was for a good reason.
It
So
totally was.
I understand why you switched that up.
We all know that feeling. You finally manage to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "beware of dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more. We all know that feeling. You finally manage to get away on vacation and the worrying starts. Will that bogus "beware of dogs" sign keep your home safe? What about that fake camera you set up? And will someone finally find your old hide and key rock? That's where ADT comes in. All that stuff, it's safe-ish. It seems fine when you don't really think about it, but you know it truly doesn't work. Instead, ADT provides security solutions that keep you actually safe, giving you real peace of mind. Because vacation is supposed to be, relaxing. Don't settle for safe-ish. Visit ADT.com today to learn more.
The next day was Monday, August 18th, and you had another park day with some reservations and stuff.
Yeah. And that day, mostly went according to plan. After the day before, we were just whatever. We don't really care what we do. So we slept in a little, for me. And then I decided because, if anybody's a runner and you are at Disney for not a run weekend, Saratoga is the place to be. Because running at just about any other resort, even Coronado, all you can do is a 1 mile loop. So if you need to do more than a mile, you just do loops and loops. And I guess some people don't mind that, but I get really bored. Same thing at the Boardwalk. It's a 1 mile loop around the Boardwalk. Loops and loops and loops.
Distance were you running?
Well, yeah, on Sunday, I ran 6.5. And then I had liked being able to run there so much that I decided I had been planning to kind of not do a long run that weekend. But of course, all my crazy running friends are like, "I'm doing 17 this morning." And I was like, I'm such a slacker. So I decided to do 10 on Monday morning. So I did 10 at Saratoga when I got up at 6:30.
And how long is the path? How many miles?
It's not, there is a path, I guess, like a technical one, but I didn't specifically follow that. But there's so many. I went around Congress Park, which takes you right towards where the boats are at Disney Springs. And there's a little extra path back there. So around Congress Park is one little loop. And then you can go around the whole lake. That's where the paddock is. There's a whole path that goes around that. You can do a loop around the grandstand. What I added this time is there's a path that goes adjacent to the golf course that goes into the Treehouse Villas. So I went into the Treehouse Villas area that day and did a loop around there. And I stopped at the pool because the pool at the Treehouse Villas, it's not locked. So it was 7 in the morning or something, but there's a vending machine that takes Apple Pay and a bathroom. So it was the best. I stopped and I pushed the button for a water and it gave me a Powerade instead. And I was like, I'll take it. I had a Powerade. I stopped at the bathroom. I kept going, went back through the grandstand, back through Saratoga, across the other bridge and into Old Key West. And there's a loop you can do around Old Key West. And now I know my way around, which I also, part of the reason I like Coronado so much is you could plunk me at any spot in Coronado and I would know where I was. And I could I like feeling familiar. The same thing as the parks. And at a different resort, I get a little turned around and I don't like that. Now I have Saratoga and Old Key West down. Now I know my way, which makes me more comfortable. So that day I had already run the day before, so I knew where I was going. So I did it wasn't hard. And there was not a lot of tracking or any looping that I had to do to get 10, which is really hard at any other Disney resort.
I can see more Old Key West and Saratoga in your future because it's the least expensive way to get a washer and dryer, I think.
100%.
And you have all this room to run.
Yeah, I know. I might have already checked all of my future trips to see if there was any possibility. But the problem is, this room, like I said, was under $400 a night with the AP discount, which was still more expensive than I usually, much more than I usually spend to stay at Disney. But, was our fancy trip. So we went fancy. But usually it's over $500 for a studio. Mm-hmm. So it's $657 for a 1-bedroom. And there's just no universe in which I'm ever spending $700 for a hotel room. I just can't do it. My brain is just, no, ma'am, not doing it.
The
So
only
we'll
thing
see.
the only thing that would make this better is if you liked Disney Springs, since it's physically located.
Right.
So
I did not step a foot in Disney Springs, but from the pool, from the rocks pool, you can see the aerofoil if it's up, which is kind of neat. So I liked seeing Disney Springs, and on the run in the morning when the sun is coming up, it's so pretty to see it across the water. That's my perfect way of doing Disney Springs, is I want to look at it in the early morning without crowds from a distance. Be like, how pretty you are. But that's it. I did not want to go in.
So after your nice run, I think you
After my
said
nice run.
you did go to Epcot.
Yes. Oh, and part of before that, part of our Instacart order was when we were going to use our kitchen, which we haven't yet to do. But I had ordered like a thing of eggs and English muffins and this is gonna sound gross, bacon, but it was like pre-cooked bacon because I wasn't sure what we would have to cook it. So anyway, Kevin knew what time I was going to be returning from my run, and so he made egg sandwiches in the kitchen so that when I got back, he like got them ready, and then I got back from my run and we had breakfast in our room with our kitchen, which was nice. And I wanted to leave around 10. Kevin was moving slow, so we left a little bit after 10, and we were walking into Epcot at 10:15. And we had a very chill, low-key morning at Epcot. We went to Living with the Land at 10:30 with a lightning lane. Then we did Soarin' at 10:50 with a lightning lane, and we got B1 without asking, which was cool. And then we had Geo 82 at 11:15. So we're standing in the line for Soarin', which even with a lightning lane, a lightning lane almost doesn't even matter because the merge is so quick. I mean, I don't know that I've actually ever done it standby, but it's a long wait even when I've walked out of the line before because it takes longer than just about any other lightning lane. So we're in the Soarin' line at 10:50 and I'm like, we're just going to see what happens. So we got there 15 minutes late. Our reservation was for 11:15. We got there at 11:30 and it was fine. It was not a problem, but I was a little anxious about it. And we were also a little extra late because I couldn't figure out how to find it.
It's
like
very confusing.
Yeah, there's no sign. There's no
None.
sign at all. It's just like this hidden door. I ended up having to ask somebody. I asked like somebody who was like a custodian, like cleaning. I was like, do you know where Geo 82 is? And he told me how to find it.
Like a speakeasy where you have to know
Yeah.
where to go, but there's no signs that say. It's very strange. And it's also, if you didn't know it was there ahead of time, you wouldn't come across it.
You would never stumble upon it. There's not
Never.
a sign anywhere for it. And
And
even
now
like
that we've done it, right? It's easy, but
now that you know where it is, but you have to know where it is. Totally.
yeah.
So we went, they took us to the table right away. It was sort of like a short little table with like couch chairs, kind of. It was nice and very expensive, like ridiculously expensive. Like the mocktails were $17 each. And for reference, like a mocktail usually at a Disney restaurant is like $9. So good Lord. But when in Rome. So, and they don't take an AP discount either. So it's just, if you're there, it's just going to be expensive. So we got both of the mocktails and waters and 2 of the small plates. We got the little flatbread thing and the hummus thing. And they were good, fancy. I mean, everything looked very fancy. The mocktails were not $17. They were like, the one of them was supposed to be a Manhattan-like drink, and I am very confident that I have never had a Manhattan in my entire life, so I don't know what a Manhattan is supposed to taste like. It had dark cherries in it on a little stick, and the drink kind of tasted clove a little bit, like hint of clove in this tiny little glass with these cherries in it for $17. So I was not particularly blown away by this. The other one was sort of a cucumbery. It wasn't neither of them were very sweet, which I liked because sometimes mocktails are just overly sugary. Had they been $9, I would have been like, oh, it's fine. But neither of them were like, wow, this is amazing. So I will not be doing that again. I did not order the non-alcoholic beer there. They do have an athletic non-alcoholic beer. So if I ever am to go back, which I probably will because it's beautiful in there, that's what I will order because they do thankfully have that too.
Yeah, but I think if I were you, I would have done the same thing because they're kind of known for their cocktails, or they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that you'd be like, well, let me try out this thing. But
I'm glad I tried them, and quite frankly, that's why I usually get non-alcoholic beer. Cause I mean, the mocktails are usually nothing special. They really shouldn't be priced that much more than sodas, but they are, which is a little bit annoying. So that's kind of why I like that non-alcoholic beer has become so prevalent, because I do enjoy it. And like, it's usually not that expensive. Mocktails are like a little, I don't really get it. But we tried them and the food was good. There was more hummus than hummus vehicles. So like we ate all the crackers were like those really thin ones that are like paper. And we ate all the crackers and there was still like a pile of hummus. So then we were like, well, this was also like a $19 pile of hummus. So we're going to eat this with a fork.
Or I wonder if they give you more chips.
Oh, we
or
could have. We
crackers.
probably should have asked, but instead we just ate hummus with a fork, and it was very garlicky, which I was cognizant of for the rest of that afternoon because I felt like I had just been like eating pure garlic, but it was fine. So we stayed there for a little bit. The thing that I really loved, because it used to be my favorite thing at Epcot, was the shimmery floor that used to be out by Spaceship Earth, like outside. There was the sidewalk that glimmered, and they mimicked that in the hallway when you walk in. So they explained that when we came in, and I just really liked that because that used to be one of my favorite things. So I was happy we went.
The fact that they don't take AP discounts feels targeted, because that's most of who goes there, I think.
Yes. Well, and it's like a 10% discount, and it's a super expensive marked up place. So it's just be cool. Just give us our 10% discount. Whatever.
Just be cool.
Just be cool. Like, why not? Why can't you do that for your $17 mocktail? I don't know. So after that, we went to Guardians at 12:30, and I once again hated the pre-show. And we got Everybody Wants to Rule the World. And I conclusively determined that the back row is where I want to be on Guardians, because the day before we got the front row, and I never ask for anything because I don't know what's better. The front row was so much more intense, and I do not like intense. And so because we did it 2 days back to back I think we were in the very front and then in the very back, and the back is way chiller, which it's sort of counterintuitive to me, because on a lot of roller coasters, I ask for the back because it's more intense. Like in Big Thunder and Slinky, like it goes faster in the back. This one, I can't explain it. Some physicist might know, but it is definitely less intense in the back. So in the future, I might ask, because they hold people for the front. There's like a special line for people who want to wait for the front. I'm like, please do not make me sit in the front of this ride. I'll take the back any day. So that was nice that it wasn't super intense. Then after that, we went to Test Track for the first time. We had a lightning lane for that because we hadn't been able to do it the day before. And it felt, first of all, when we walked in, it smelled super new. It was like new car smell in there. And the lightning lane line felt very long, because it's like you walk through the door and that was like right where the people were. So I was like, whoa, okay, this is going to take a while. But it did not take a while. It moved very quickly. And so we entered at 12:55. And we were off the ride at 1:15. So the whole thing took 20 minutes, including the ride itself. I liked it. I really liked it. My thoughts were that it was sort of like a mashup of old Test Track and Spaceship Earth vibes. Like it had like a theme that felt similar to Spaceship Earth, like the history of cars and like the future. And, it definitely felt more like Epcot. And I don't know. I liked it. It was nice.
That room right before you go outside. Is my favorite.
Well, I think that I've read that there's supposed to be doors there before the outside, so that it's like this big reveal of the outside, and those broke. So it's just open the whole time. So I think it'll be cooler when that gets fixed, if they ever fix it.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
I mean, that's what it used to do.
Yeah, it doesn't do that anymore.
But it didn't do it on our rides last trip either. But I agree, that would help. But I still like the way that room looks.
Yeah. I liked that too. My son won't be happy about it, and my husband wasn't happy about it, but I like that they don't do the build the car thing anymore. It just to me was, you know why? Because it created another one of those stupid crowds where there's no line, and then that stresses me out and overwhelms me. So I like that that's not a thing, but my kids really liked, and Kevin really liked making the car.
I feel like people, because I don't remember when you started going to the parks, if you remember the old build a car thing, it was more obvious which car was yours. And now with the most recent version that they had, I felt like people didn't understand the connection. Like, why am I building this car? And then they get in this other car, and how do I track? I don't know.
Yeah, no, did not experience the old one. And I definitely remember thought that about the one that was the last one, was you kind of see your car, but you can't really. Yeah.
I thought it was a weird change that
It
they
was
did.
weird.
So
I agree with you.
that this is probably a good change.
It was a good change. I'm going to agree. So after that, I had in my plan that I wanted to go see Voices of Liberty because they're my favorite in the whole wide world. But I was like, I'm not walking over to America because it is as far as one can humanly get from here. So I decided I would just miss them this trip, which is a bummer because I see them just about every time I go to Disney. But I prioritized not being hot over that. And then we decided I wasn't really hungry, but I was a little bit hungry and I wanted to try some new things at Connections Cafe or Eatery. So we went there and they have a new salad that's weird, but good. That is what I would call it. It has sweet potatoes in it, several like items that I can't identify, like weird little kernely things that are kind of corn, but not corn. I can't even tell you what they were, but it was good. Big chunks of sweet potato and then like lettuce and dressing. And so I enjoyed the salad, but it was definitely strange. And then we got the dessert, the bouche something that's like a cake that looks like a rainbow shape or like a U with a chocolate Mickey. That was delicious. So we got those two things. The only thing that was annoying was it was so hard to find a table in there. Like it was, because it was, what time was it?
Everybody else was hot too.
Yeah, it was 1:00 and and it was so crowded. And you're just like walking and people stake out tables and just sit there that don't have their food, which is annoying. And so we were just walking around. But then my favorite thing about Disney is people watching. I just like people. It's so funny. Like I'm sort of an introvert and I don't like, but also I really just like being around people that are happy and that I feel safe around because everybody's been through security and people are here at a Disney park. So everyone gets like a crowd, but a crowd that feels safe. And so we were walking through with the tray and this man and his son, who was maybe like tween, like 11 or 12. This kid was like, "Hey, are you looking for a table? We're about to get up." And I was like, "Oh yeah, we are." And he was like, "You can have ours." And he was so sweet. He was like, "Enjoy your lunch." It was just like this sweet little kid. And I was like, that's the stuff. Like, that's the stuff I like about Disney. It's just seeing people be happy, and seeing like kids and stuff. So that's how we got our table and sat and ate and relaxed. And then we were about ready to go, but I checked the JAMMiter's schedule because they're my other favorite and they were going to be on at 1:55. So we went into the new Goofy play area that's right there in the new Communicore Hall for the air conditioning because the air conditioning is nice in there. It's right near where the JAMMitors are. So we walked over there, went inside, watched what they were doing, which was cute. It's Goofy's out and they're doing games. And so little kids are running around and playing and interacting with Goofy. It'd be it'd be really fun for like little kids. And we just sort of sat on the edge and enjoyed the air conditioning until it was time for JAMMitors, which are right there. And so then it was time for them. We walked out and literally this has happened to me more than once. I'm like, I'm the person who is literally here in order to see you, who had it on my schedule versus people who just walk by and are like, "What's this?" I was like, "No, I planned to be here. I'm here as you show up."
I know you love them.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if part of your love of them is because they were one of the only entertainment options for a while.
During COVID. Yeah, they totally were.
They were.
I mean, the real main reason I love them is because I'm a bit of a percussion junkie. Like I was like very cool in high school and played the bass drum in the marching band. So I just really love all things percussion. So it's that and it's Disney and funny and fun.
Do you like the Army Men in Toy Story Land?
I do love the Army Men in Toy Story Land. And I like the band, like the Disneyland has one that's there more, like the Main Street Band, whatever they call them. I love all of those things. Yeah,
Fun.
I do. Yeah, so we saw the JAMMitors and we found there was like a PhotoPass umbrella that was there. So we were able to stand like in a little bit of shade, which was nice. And then we were leaving Epcot at 2:05. And at this point, I had already booked. I was going to hop over to Magic Kingdom. Kevin couldn't because now he just has our sad little regular ticket, which we never used the third day of, but it was worth it. And so I was going to hop. So I had booked Lightning Lanes for Magic Kingdom for that evening. So when we left, I have Lightning Lanes and Magic Kingdom at Tron, which I had moved from the day before at Peter Pan, Mansion, and Pirates. So then this is also a departure from the original plan. So we get back to the hotel at around 3 and go into our room. And I decided to see if I could do one of those DVC tours because I was like, I really like this washer dryer. So
You are so well suited for it.
I know. So, and because the DVC like center is right there at Saratoga anyway, and we had time to kill, and I was like, well, why not? So I called. I wasn't sure how to do it. I tried asking the chat. They were like, we don't do that. I was like, okay, never mind. And then I looked on the phone in the room and there was a button that said DVC. So I hit that button and that did it. And so it got me somebody on the phone and he was able to schedule us a tour for 4:00.
How did Kevin feel about this addition to the schedule?
He was cool with it. We chilled out and watched TV. What we used at the room was because there's the Murphy bed in the living room and then the regular bed in the bedroom. We used the Murphy bed for our chilling out and watching TV bed. So like when we watched TV, instead of sitting on the couch, which wasn't very comfortable, we would pull down the bed and use that. So we just like relaxed and watched. There was a show we were streaming on Netflix. So we just finished and just rested a little bit and then went over to the DVC place at 4:00. And I was like, should we drive there? Should we walk there? We opted to walk, which was in hindsight erroneous. That was not a good idea because it was super hot and it was it wasn't that far, but it was kind of far. It was like the other side. It took us a minute to find it, but eventually we did. And you go in, it's beautiful in there. Like in the DVC, there's this little rotunda with all these stained glass windows of all the castles in the world. I mean, it's really pretty. And I would have never gone into that space otherwise. So we go in, they check your ID, and figured this out later because they sent me a confirmation email and it said that you get a gift card if you do it. But the rule is you have to not have done one in the last year. I've never done one. And you have to have all members of your family party who are decision makers present. So,
oh, that's interesting because at the end, it would be very common for someone to be like, oh, I need to
talk to my husband. Yeah, totally. So they had like kind of clarified all that, but literally once we showed up, I noticed later they just emailed me the gift card. It's $100 a person. So we got a $200 gift card for doing this, which wasn't actually my reason. I didn't even know that when I called, but they told me on the phone. So we go in, I'm going to say his name because it's so funny. The guy's name is Don Deal.
Some people's careers are just
I know. When he handed us his card, he was like, you're going to laugh at my last name. So anyway, he was fun and he went through all of it. I didn't really know a whole lot about DVC, though I did listen to your episode about DVC a while back, but I didn't know a whole lot. And Kevin was like open to it. He was like, well, you go a lot. And the guy was like blown away because he was like, well, when he's playing with it, what trips are you taking? And I was like, well, I have 5 coming up. I was like, what's your next one? I was like, it's in 2 weeks. He was like, oh my God. And you're not DVC? I was like, no, I am not. And he was like, have you stayed at other Disney properties? I was like, I've stayed at all of them. And he was like, and you're not DVC? And I was like, no, I'm not. So went through the whole thing and I had no idea what the like money part was about, but we were curious, interested. He gave us like some paperwork that explained like the costs and the points and of the different resorts. And I told him, oh, he also took us to some models. So we got to see the 1-bedroom from Poly and the 1-bedroom from Riviera, which are beautiful, really beautiful. The one from the Poly Tower was like, I mean, they were both gorgeous rooms and they both had washer dryers, so I was impressed, but it wasn't pressure. You know what I mean? Like he was definitely like, I mean, the most pressure was, he was like, well, something about the year when you get your points, if you have to do it soon to get them to be active. And I didn't even really understand it, but he was definitely not like high pressure, but he was like, if you're going to do this, you should do it soon. And also you come here so much, like, obviously it's crazy that you haven't done this. But when we like left, he sent us an email with all that information. And this was another funny thing. When we went to leave, it was pouring again. And we had to walk halfway across the resort. And they were like, did you drive here? And we're like, no, we're at the paddock. And they gave us 2 umbrellas, the DVC people.
I thought you were going to say they drove you.
No, they gave us umbrellas, which we still have. They were not nice umbrellas. I mean, they were like, obviously like cheap umbrellas, but they gave us both umbrellas, which was nice. Because otherwise we would have literally gotten drenched walking back to our room because it was pouring. But anyway, long story short, after thinking about it more and looking at it more, I am not going to do DVC. mostly because it is really not designed for somebody who goes a lot. Like, in order to cover my trips, I would need like a lot of points, and there's no way on earth I'm going to do that. And also, I think the polite word for it is frugal. And so I like to stay in moderate resorts 9 out of 10 times. And they only accommodate deluxe resorts. And even with DVC, you're paying more for a deluxe resort than you're going to pay for a moderate resort. Maybe not in 10 years, but I can't think that. I just am not that kind of person. I'm not thinking about saving money in 10 years by spending money today. Like, meh. So by the end of the day, I had decided, no, this isn't for me.
Yeah. I mean, that was
Yeah.
my decision too, but it makes sense for so many people.
It would make sense. Like Kevin and I talked about it, and we were like, if we just took one trip a year, it would make sense, and so it might make sense down the road when we're, like we were like, it'd be fun to think about bringing your grandkids and stuff later, but I'm just not that kind of thinker. I'm like a 3 months ahead thinker most of the time. I don't know if I'll want to do that. So it just didn't make sense.
Yeah. And you like to stay at non-deluxe resorts.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's harder to justify that way.
I do like to stay at non-deluxe resorts most of the time, so, and I have a friend who recently signed up for DVC. And so she and I were texting back and forth because she had literally just joined like a week before. And I was like, you didn't finance it, did you? And she was like, no, that's like a whole different calculus. And I was like, I just can't, like it hurts my soul to spend 5 figures on anything at one time. Like, it's hard for me to pony up that kind of money all at once. Really doesn't feel like saving money, even though I know there's like a whole logic to it, but I couldn't stomach it. So, but Mr. Deal has not been harassing me at all. So I did not feel like, sometimes if you like go look at a car, then you have a million follow-ups. They're like, are you still thinking about it? I haven't heard from him. So I think it's not that kind of thing, which is nice. So that was that. And then that evening I went over I booked a dinner reservation for 6:30 for Steakhouse 71 for us, because I was going to go over to Magic Kingdom to try to see Starlight. And that seemed like a good way to do that, because after the whole fiasco of the Skyliner, I was like, the last thing I want to do is be part of a exiting park horde. So we drove over to the Contemporary and went to Steakhouse 71, and we had a really nice dinner. They changed the menu, I think. It's been a while since I've had dinner there, but I've definitely had dinner there, and I think they changed it. It's mostly just like a steak menu. Like you choose which cut of steak you want, and then you get one side and one sauce. And
that is different.
Yeah, and it was really good. We ate so much. We both got a salad, and then we got the bread, like the big bread, because I love the bread there, and we both got a steak. So I got the filet and he got like the ribeye. And so we rolled our way out of there. It was really tasty though. Like it was all very good, but very filling. And the, service is really good as usual. So we left there at about 7:30, and the plan had been for Kevin to go take the bus, like to walk to the front of Magic Kingdom with me and then take the bus back to Saratoga. And then I was going to go into Magic Kingdom and then take the car back. But he was, as I had mentioned earlier, he needs to get a hip replacement at some point. And so he has a hard time with too much walking, and he's slow too. So I was like, or you could take an Uber. And so that's what he did. So he took an Uber from the Contemporary back to Saratoga, and I walked to Magic Kingdom. And so I had previously mentioned I had 4 lightning lanes and wanted to see Starlight. So the first thing I did was went and did Tron, which was nice. And I got the front row again without asking, which was fun. And the guy next to me had never done it before. That's my favorite, is being the front row of Tron with somebody who's never done it before, because they like, and I'm always like, have you done this? I'm like, you're in the best seat. It'll be fun. So I did that. That was good as usual. And then I was going to head over and do Mansion, because I hadn't done it the day before because it had been down, and Peter Pan, which is super quick, and then maybe Pirates, because I have all those 3. I go over to Haunted Mansion, and I cannot tell you what the line was like. It was 8:20 when I got in the line. I, like, right after you tap in, you didn't move at all. Like, you tap in, you're in the line. The line was not moving. The standby line was not moving. I told myself, I was like, if I don't get past the merge by 8:35, I'm bailing. And so we are slowly moving. It gets to be 8:35. We're almost at the merge. I'm, oh God, what do I do? I was like on the fence. And then this group, like this family ahead of me, turned around to leave. And I was like, I'm following them out, because then I could also like follow their lane. So I left and did not ride Haunted Mansion, and then went back. And walking over there from Tron, the hub was nuts, like crazy crowded with people, as though it was like fireworks time on a busy day. So I was a little stressed out by that. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to abandon all of my lightning lanes and not try to do Pirates or Peter Pan. I'm going to Disneyland soon. So I was like, well, Pirates is better there anyway, so it's fine. I can skip it. But it kind of annoys me when I have lightning lanes and I don't use a lot of them. I don't know. I then feel like I'm not getting a good deal, but whatever. It was fine. It was definitely not worth trying to do any more attractions. So I had read that the Starlight Parade, it goes backwards. So it starts at the front of the park and moves towards the back. So my thought was, I'm just going to leave. I'm going to walk out like I'm leaving and try to find a spot. And it was, the biggest crowd was absolutely in the hub. The hub was insanity. But Main Street, it got a little bit less crazy because they have to keep the sidewalks clear. And I ended up finding a spot right in front of the train station. There was a set of 2 trash cans, and there was like 2 people standing there, and I stood right behind them so I could see right between their heads. And then there was a trash can. So there was nobody in front, and you literally saw the very start of the parade. And I didn't get there until 8:45 for 9:00 parade start. I had been a little nervous that the parade wasn't going to happen because you could still see lightning in the distance, but all the outdoor attractions were running, like Dumbo was running. So I was like, I never understand Disney and lightning, because sometimes there's nothing you can see and they're like, everything's closed. And sometimes you're literally watching bolts of lightning and they're like, no worries. I don't understand. But I wasn't sure if the parade was going to happen or not. And I was like, if it's not, I'm just out. Like, I'm not staying. There's not a chance I'm staying till the 11:00 parade. Like, not a chance on earth. So, but it didn't get delayed. And so it started at 9:00, right on time. And the 15 minutes I spent waiting, listening to the people in front of me who were fanatical Disney adults, they were both like people in their 60s who were there. And they were like talking about all the bloggers and all the YouTube channels. I was like, it's fun. They talked about the new book about Disney adults. I was like, fun, just interacting with people. And the parade was good. I mean, I've only seen the nighttime parades for the parties. I haven't seen the nighttime parades with the lights. So I didn't really know what to expect, but it was impressive and fun and cute. And because I was right there at the exit and right there at the very start of the parade, I got out there as probably early as one could after seeing the parade.
Yeah, it's a quick exit.
It was a very quick exit. And then I just walked to the Contemporary and got in the car and left.
Yeah. So that was a pretty easy way to do it.
Yeah. I was walking out at 9:15 and I was back to the room. I packed up and I was in bed at 10:15.
I think for people that want to stay in the parks, Frontierland probably makes sense because it's less crowded than the hub area.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, pretty wild.
I would not watch it from the hub. The other thing is the hub was crowded like it's crowded for fireworks, which is like, it's not like you're all at the curb. I mean, there's like tens of people deep from the curb. So like lots of those people wouldn't have actually had a very good view of the parade.
Yeah, I am guessing they were there for fireworks as well.
Yeah, I
know,
suppose.
they just picked a spot. But if you just want to do the parade, then your way is a very easy exit. And then Frontierland's very easy if you want to stay in the park.
Yeah.
But the pictures are better when you have Main Street or the castle in the background. So it's pros and
I
cons.
had fantastic pictures. Like I didn't have anything in background, but I had perfect pictures of all the floats because there was nobody in front of me and they were right there. And so I couldn't have picked a better spot and I didn't have to wait around for it. And then I could just bolt out of there real quick, which was nice. I think they have VIP viewing for the parade at the top of the train station. Like it is a pretty nice place to see the parade.
That's one of them. And the other is the garden in front of Casey's Corner, which I actually don't think is that great of view, but
I don't think so either.
They kind of close it off for VIP guests.
I walked past there when I was headed out, and they had when I was at the Magic Kingdom with my parents for fireworks in April, my dad was in a wheelchair and I had tried to do the handicapped viewing for the fireworks. And when we tried, and granted, this was like spring break season, so it was pretty crowded, By the time we got there, it was closed. They had filled the handicap area and they wouldn't let anybody else in. So we had to find a different spot, which was annoying. When I went past for this, the handicap area was empty. There was like 2 wheelchairs in there, which was weird. I don't know how to make heads or tails of that, but then there's also the VIP where they do like the viewing if you're on a VIP tour. That's there too. But it wouldn't be a great spot for the parade. It really wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
We are going to do a dessert party on an upcoming trip so that we can try.
You'll have to, yes.
We keep telling people it's not great views, but we're gonna verify.
I mean, the floats are pretty tall. So, I mean, you might be okay not being right up at the front to see it, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah. With most parades, the things happening on the ground are also a part of it. And this one is less so.
No, they would have these people in between the floats, except it was so dark you couldn't even see them. It was like, what are those people doing? I can't tell. I think there's people moving around, but they were very hard. I didn't understand that at all. I mean, it didn't have much, but there were maybe like 2 or 3 sets of that. It was like, kind of a bummer.
It is.
Yeah.
But you had an easy exit, got back to your resort, and the next day was your flight home in the
Departure
morning.
day. Yeah. Flight home in the morning. Everything went smoothly. Okay. So I have an owner's locker and I used to try to pack it up and get it picked up the night before, but I had learned from Coronado, I've done this at Coronado, that if you can call Bell Services the day before, they will come at 6 a.m. or anytime you want if you schedule it. So now that's what I do. So I had called to have them pick up my owner's locker. So the owner's locker person came at 6 a.m, or the Bell Services person came and picked up my owner's locker. And then we left the room at 6:30. I did have one annoying thing. Speaking of how much I loved my rental car, it had the really weird gas gauge. Like I couldn't tell how much gas there was until we stopped to get gas because you have to return it full. And I put gas in it and it stopped. And then I went back in it and the gauge didn't look like it was full. And I was like, I don't understand. And so then at a red light, just for the record, I took a picture of it and I put it in ChatGPT and I said, is my gas tank full? This is an Audi A3 or whatever the heck it was. And ChatGPT was like, no, your gas tank is almost at empty. And I was like, well, that's not true. So then I said to her, I was like, you are incorrect. I just put gas in it. It is either full or close to full. And then she was like, oh, my bad. So then we stopped at a second gas station and I had Kevin do it and he was able to put 2 more gallons in it and it then filled up all the way. So this rental car and me were not friends, but it was fine. And then we returned it. We were there in plenty of time. Flight was on time, smooth, no issues, landed on time, got home and went to work. Yep.
No time for rest.
No time for rest. Had to work that day. Yes.
Yeah. The gas situation with the rental car, that's why I started prepaying for them because I've had too many weird things happen with the gas tanks.
I know. I couldn't figure it out. I can't even explain it, but it just didn't, like the way that the gas gauge was like designed, you couldn't really tell. ChatGPT was dead wrong about it. So yeah, it was fine, but annoying.
Yeah, you made it.
I made it.
And you're going to Disneyland in a couple of weeks. So in no time to be sad about that trip being over.
No time to be sad at all. Definitely a quick turnaround. And I'm going to see all the same people. Every one of my running friends, except for the bride, is going to be at Disneyland. And the only reason she's not going to be at Disneyland, she has a bib. She could be. She's signed up. But she is I can talk about it because she's been pretty public about who she is. She is a Ironman triathlete. She's like a very serious triathlete. So she is going to Kona for the Ironman sometime between now and I don't know when it is, but it interferes. And so makes it so it's too difficult for her to go to Disneyland. But the rest of us pretty much go to every race. I mean, she does too. She's just not doing that one for that reason. And, she just had a wedding. But everybody else I was there with, they're all going to be at Disneyland. So it'll be nice to see them again. Yes. I was like, see you in 2 weeks. It was like a very...
Yeah, that's fun. But I do think it's funny that knowing people from this niche is, I don't know what you look like when you are cooking. I don't know what you look like when you're in everyday life. And it's just, we only know each other in the context of the parks or cruise ships or whatever.
Yes. It's fun though when I thought about that, like when you get to know people more, because it's like over time. At first it's like, I just know you as a running person. And then it's I just know you as a running person and a little bit a park person. And then you just over time, like friendships build and you know more about them. I have a really amazing talent, which is I remember names. I don't remember a lot, but I remember names. So like when we were sitting there the first night, I like remembered everybody's kids' names.
Mhm.
And I was like, and I remember those sorts of things. I was like, oh, I can't remember what I had for breakfast though. So, like mileage may vary, but I like getting, how those relationships develop.
And the opposite, I have a note on my phone that when I meet a bunch of people, I start taking notes and I'll say Sharon, and then a little tidbit that I remember. And then
Right.
once the name gets in, it doesn't
Yes.
escape. But that
Yes.
first
It's like
memorization is hard.
Michael Scott's Rolodex, where you have all those little bits of information.
That's half,
Yeah.
except for me, it's on my phone.
Yeah,
But
totally.
yeah, I'm jealous. I want that easy to remember names talent that you have.
Yeah, it's one of my only talents, but I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
all have
Mhm.
things.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you sharing
Yeah.
about this trip, and I'm excited to talk in the after chat with you because I want to ask you about your Disneyland trip.
Awesome. All right.
So, all right, thanks, Sharon. I hope you enjoyed my conversations with Sharon. I certainly did. Of course, we did keep talking for the after chat about various things, including her upcoming trip plans that happen to include Disneyland. I was there when she had her first trip to Disneyland, so I'm excited to see that she is going back over and over again. That will wrap up this episode of WDW Prep To Go. For more information, please check the show notes in your podcast app or head to the website, wdwprepschool.com. Click on podcast at the top, scroll down to episode 476. Until next time, I will see you on the site.